The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93X.
Morning, everyone.
Happy Monday, everybody.
I hate Mondays.
I hate Mondays. Hate them. Therefore, I decree from this day forward, there will be no more Mondays.
Yeah, I got a job in an ice cream shop. Eric, you can't just sit there at a table. Yeah, I can. It's Monday. So? So haven't you heard of Bare Minimum Mondays? I don't care if it's Bare Minimum Mondays. Eric, you need to come... break time. I'll be back.
Well, where is your friend?
He hasn't come back from his break yet. Hey, Butters. Eric, where are you? I wasn't feeling the best, so I decided to work from home. Eric, you need to come here right now, or we're both going to get fired. Okay, I guess so. But don't forget that tomorrow is Take It Easy Tuesdays.
It's showtime.
Hello, good morning, and happy Juneteenth to everyone. You're listening to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show, and by damn, we appreciate that very much. Yeah, I know, a lot of you don't like Mondays. But it ain't so bad when you're working on a company holiday like we are today, because we're the only ones in the building. Nobody here to bother us.
That is kind of nice, isn't it?
That's a good point.
No one here to bother us once we get off the air. And we can pretty much do what the F we want to do.
Dude,
I always
a great day to bring in your scooter.
Oh, man.
I forgot about my scooter.
Think of that.
Darn it.
I even charged it up. I forgot to bring in my effing scooter, Cubby. Now I feel like a
You were going to bring it in today?
Well, I've been talking about bringing it in.
Oh, so they're saying just in general.
Yeah, no better day than today. No one can tell us, hey, don't run into that cubicle.
God dang it, well, I'm a stupid idiot. When's the next company holiday? We got to work it. We got to work the next company holiday.
4th of July, I guess.
All right, we'll be here on the 4th of July. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, the fireworks don't start until later.
Bring a friggin' case of beer, and Cubby can grill some brats, and we'll ride my scooter around the damn.
Sounds awesome.
But I always like this vibe. I do when you work on a company holiday. Because you guys know this about me already. My least favorite part of this job is dealing with people who want to have detailed conversations with us after we just put on a show where we talked for 3.5 straight hours. I'm done talking when this show is over.
Yeah, for them, it's like one of the first conversations they have of the day. For us, it's like the 50th.
There are a couple of people here who want to engage in long conversations after the show. We will have no such problems today.
The worst part about that is everyone forgets immediately what the conversation was about. Or we'll just agree to whatever they say and regret it.
Yep.
Just to end the conversation.
Yeah, as long as this conversation ends, I will agree to anything right now.
I think the second half of that scenario, Josh, that's what we're most guilty of. We're so burned out on talking. People walk up, sales types and whatnot. They'll come up with some stupid idea, and because we don't want to talk anymore, we'll agree to it. And then 2 days later, we say, how in God's name did we agree to this?
Or other people might even say, wow, that's a terrible idea. Yeah, well, the morning show, they're totally into it. And they're all about it.
Should I race home real quick and get my scooter and come back?
Go for it.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I wouldn't mind
It's a
riding
holiday.
that thing.
That would be effing sweet. I wish I would have thought of that. Maybe after this break, I'll run home.
I mean, the last time we cruised around here in a scooter, it was a regular work day for the rest of the folks.
I suppose you're right.
We can do it. Plus, even when this place is fully staffed, there's nobody here.
True.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't a lot of people here, but...
This building is ridiculously large. They've had so many reckonings where they just come in and fire everybody they see. That's you got to hide under your desk. It's like an old, growing up when we'd have, during the Cold War, you'd have those nuclear deals, right? Where you just put your head under your desk, all these different drills. You got to do the same thing now.
Yeah, we had the nuclear deals.
And so, once this company took over, and it's a lot different now, I got to say. But at first, it just come through, and if they saw somebody, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. It was like a workplace shooter, except you were just fired.
Not a lot of people in the building. But I just have a bad feeling that, on the one day, a regular work day here, not a company holiday, on the one regular work day where I do bring my scooter in, we didn't get the email that some powerful sumbitch,
Totally.
is visiting from Atlanta, where the corporate head. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
The corporate head. Some big bastard from Atlanta will be visiting, and I'll run over his heel, and ruin his golf game, and then we'll be on corporate's radar, and we don't like that.
No.
We want them to know who we are.
I'll damage an 81-year-old billionaire's Achilles with my scooter, and then we're all going to pay for it. Josh, yesterday was Father's Day, and you are the father. You found out. I hope your ungrateful family finally showed you the respect that you've long deserved.
Oh, it was great. Nice weekend. We celebrated on Saturday due to everybody's work schedules, but it was good.
Anything special? Did you go anywhere? Did you go out to eat or anything?
Have you ever heard of Devani's?
Oh, hell
nice.
yeah.
Jealous.
You guys know what wings are?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. What about pizza?
Yes.
That's what we did.
Nice.
That sounds all right to me, dude.
I got a T-shirt that's got a pickup, and in that pickup is a refrigerator, and it's strapped down, and it says, "That's not going anywhere." And I got to tell you, looking at the straps, it doesn't look very good.
No?
It looks like that might be going somewhere.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah.
That was one of your... I thought you were going to tell that old joke.
What?
The T-shirt.
T-shirt and the piece of ass joke?
Yeah. Oh, you guys know that joke?
No.
Last Father's Day, Josh got a T-shirt and a piece of ass, and they were both too big. I thought that's where you were going with that. Someone got you a T-shirt, and on the T-shirt is a picture of a refrigerator strapped to a car, and it says...
That's not going
That's
anywhere.
not going anywhere. It's hilarious. It must have been from your stepdaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's funny. Or she thinks she's funny.
She's pretty funny. I've told you before, she sent me a potato in the mail that just said, "You're a hoe" on it.
Man.
That is funny. And you are a hoe.
I know.
So
I'll hoe myself out if need be.
You went out to eat, or you stayed in and you ordered the Devani's?
We actually went out, which is
What?
first time I've ever actually been in the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Usually we order it.
What was it like?
Oh, it's fancy. They redid that thing. They've got the highest tech Coke machine I've ever seen.
Oh, those are the freestyle one?
Yeah, but I've seen the freestyle ones, but this one was even higher tech than the normal freestyle ones.
Jealous.
I mean,
I don't even
I
know.
want to hang out just for that.
So you went out to eat. Oh, by the way, who's this now? The texts are rolling in, and I apologize. Sometimes they're tough to keep up with. Big MIG Welder. We were talking about my brand new electric scooter, which I feel like a damn fool that I didn't bring it in this morning when we could just go buck wild. Nobody in the building. Big MIG Welder. Not a scooter, he says. It's a stand-up Harley.
That's right. Dang right. Hey, I want to bring in one of my dogs. Maybe we could do the same day.
Oh, sweet.
The dog and stand-up Harley day.
I can terrorize a dog with my stand-up Harley?
Maybe we could teach him how to ride it.
Well, this is interesting. I forgot. You got a new dog.
Yeah, relatively new.
That's my dog. What movie? Friday.
I could bring my dogs in. We could start like a little dog fighting situation if you want.
My dog's going to kick your dog's ass. Bring them all in. He'll take
2
them.
on 1.
I would love it if you'd bring in your new dog.
Yeah, he's going to be going to a little doggy training boot camp. Once he gets back from that, I'll bring him in.
I think you told me that's like a 2-month process, isn't it?
Well, I thought it was going to be 4 weeks, but we're talking beginning of July through September 1st so far.
You won't see the dog?
Because they evaluated him, and they said he's one of the dumber dogs they've ever seen.
We need more time.
They said they were surprised he could keep his drool in.
Isn't this something? I don't know if I've ever heard of that before. So you turn the dog over to some joint. They keep him for 2 months and teach him everything that he needs to know, and then they send him back to you. Ideally or theoretically, a completely obedient beast.
Yeah, it's like a Harvard for dogs. He's going to come back real pretentious, and he's going to mention all the time, well, when I was at doggy boot camp, and he's going to bring that up.
That's
You're
something.
allowed to go and visit him, right?
No.
No?
Wow.
So they don't do any training with like the owners?
They do when it's all done.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to give him up.
That's really
Yeah.
interesting. Well, I think then you should bring in your dog before he goes to doggy boot camp, okay? So we can meet him as is, and then bring him back in afterwards to see the improvement.
He'll come back. He's going to have a monocle when he comes back.
A monocle.
He's going to be the smartest dog there is.
Well, bring him in, and then we got 2 weeks before we go back on vacation for Independence Day. Would you bring him in? That's a great idea. I wish I would have brought in my scooter. You wish you would have brought in your dog. I'd love to meet him before he goes to doggy camp.
I wonder if they'd let me bring him. Nah, I'd be a douchebag if I brought him on the booze cruise.
Don't bring him on the booze cruise.
That's not going to work. Plus, he doesn't have a high tolerance. To answer some questions coming in, we have another Great Dane, and his name's Rocky. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, bring that stupid bastard in.
I'll bring him in.
We don't need any of your foot-eating dogs in here, Ashley. Because that, again, the big wig from Atlanta will show up. Your dog will eat his foot, and we'll be... Well, I think that's a great idea. Bring in the dog.
Yeah, I think we should all have a different dog day. Or we have the same dog day. I mean, mine, I don't know how well yours get along with other dogs. Mine's great.
I've got one that's absolutely terrified of all other dogs, and she's the best. No, I love that because she just, when she's scared, she just stays by my side and doesn't make a noise. The other one, though, he sees another dog, and he's like, oh, I've got some things to say for hours.
What kind of dogs do you have again?
I have a half lab, half German Shepherd. That's the one that eats her foot. And then I have a Brittany.
I don't know what a Brittany is.
Yeah, what's a Brit?
It's a hunting dog.
I had a Brittany Spaniel as a child. Her name was Maggie. And then she went blind and she died.
Oh, I'm so sorry. They are really good dogs.
She lived forever. She was like 17 or 18.
Holy cow.
Yeah, she was a great dog.
Oh.
A listener texted in, who was it that asked if you could visit the dog?
I did.
And Josh said no. While his dog is at doggy boot camp, Josh cannot visit. A listener texted in and said, oh, you asked that? Mm-hmm. Well, that's because you lived in Wisconsin for a while. Listener says, if you're from Wisconsin, you'd ask if you can have conjugal visits with your dog. Well, yeah, Cubby, let us know when you're bringing in a dog. I'll bring him a toy or something.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
You're a good man.
So you went out to eat for Father's Day. A couple of us here have restaurant experience from our more lucrative past occupations, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Hey, I mean, that's not that far from a lie. Being a server and bartender is a good gig.
You were a server and a bartender. Mm-hmm. Wapple, you worked in the back in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. Josh, you worked in the back as a food prep guy.
Yeah,
when you were a young person.
Yeah, I'd fill in for like the cooks if need be, but mostly it was prep. And then I worked like 2 different, I guess, like deli counters essentially.
Dana, you never worked in the restaurant industry or at a cafe or anything like that, did you?
No food service and experience here, just retail stuff.
Yeah, me too. I never worked with food. That's, by the way, how my dad and his buddies up north say it. It's a cafe. It's not a cafe. We went over to the cafe.
What do they call a buffet?
I don't know.
Oh.
I think they just say buffet.
They say buffet?
That's a weird deal.
Not buffet or anything like that?
I don't think so. Ashley, when you were waiting tables, or let's say some donkey ordered dinner from the bar, at the bar while you were bartending, you ever get any really weird requests for, how their food might be prepared or what they do or do not like? Can you think of any really weird requests where you had to go back to the cook and say, yeah, sorry, don't kill the messenger, but this guy wants me to put butter on his, somebody give me something you would never put, well, you put butter on everything. This guy wants me to put extra salt on his, that kind of a thing.
I can't think of anything from when I was bartending and serving, but when I worked at a sandwich shop, I got some weird stuff. I remember there was one person who specifically came in all the time, and they would get a regular footlong, and it was always just a random regular footlong, and then they'd get a 6-inch with nothing but a bunch of lettuce, cheese, not toasted, and some type of sauce. I can't remember what the sauce was, but I remember it was just lettuce and cheese. And I thought, okay, maybe a grilled cheese, but they never had it toasted. So I thought it was weird.
Maybe the guy had some fresh venison in the trunk or something. He was going to make his own sandwich.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, do you have your own meat? Or I was like, why are you getting a regular sandwich?
I stole a line. I forgot the comedian. Sebastian Maniscalco, maybe. Where anytime I went to Subway, just run it through the garden. That's what I'd run it through the garden.
Mm-hmm. I was just reading something about weird requests at restaurants. Servers and whatnot naming the weird requests they've gotten from customers over the years. You want to hear some of the...
Yes.
Some of these I think are outright lies. I mean, these are from Reddit.
Okay. Holler at me when you think they're making it up. There was a couple that didn't want their empty plates taken away right away because the guy wanted to lick them clean first.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, see, I don't think that's made up because I know a plate licker.
As an adult?
Yes. You know him, too. Curtis.
Curtis licks the plates clean.
He does.
He'll go to a restaurant and lick it.
He'll lick a plate clean no matter where they serve him dinner. I've watched him lick plates, and he's a fully
As
grown
an adult.
man. Yes.
So now you're not going back to high school here.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He will lick a plate. It's a horrible, horrible thing to watch.
That's not normal, bro.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll use my
I'm
finger.
not buying that this
but-
person did.
But you know, like sometimes, especially if it's something like mac and cheese, and I finish all the mac and cheese, like sometimes I'll use my finger and get, some extra cheese sauce and lick it, but I can't imagine picking up the actual bowl and licking it.
And if Curtis is listening right now, he knows that I love him to death. He's one of my favorite people in the whole world. Curtis, if you're listening, buddies for life, I think, he and I. But he is not a pleasant person to watch eat. And when it's over, he will just give that plate a thorough lick down.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's his only flaw.
Probably right. Well, I kind of fear that we're all headed in this direction. I wonder if this was an old-timer. A guy asked for a tablecloth to wrap around his waist after soiling himself in one way or another.
Poor guy.
Well, I'll be there eventually.
Yeah, I'd hate to be the guy that peed or deuced his pants at the restaurant. That's horrible. It's embarrassing. But I'll tell you this much. If I one or two myself at the restaurant, I'm not asking for something to wrap myself in. I'm getting the hell out of there.
You're running, yes.
If I
Never
can.
going back.
Boy,
If
I'm
I
so
can.
embarrassed. I don't want anybody to know about this. Hey, excuse me, stranger. Do you mind handing me a tablecloth? I pooped myself. Yeah, I'm like you guys. I'm just out.
Yep.
How was your meal? Can I get you anything else? Yes, I'll take the bill and a tablecloth, please.
Here's somebody who wanted a grilled chicken salad, but they weren't happy with the first bowl brought out because it was cold. So they cooked more chicken. But they sent it back again. In the end, this individual wanted the salad to be hot as well.
Ew. Okay. No, that's weirdo.
Pretty nasty.
The lettuce, maybe I should have said it that way. The lettuce, the salad, you guys know what I'm talking about. They wanted that to also be as hot as the chickens.
Hot
I'd be
lettuce.
concerned.
That's not how you
concerned.
get food poisoning.
Oh, you're spitting it out.
Yuck.
This lettuce is ice cold. Oh, God.
I mean, although I guess I like hot spinach. I don't know. It seems different though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like on a sandwich or something like that.
I wonder how many Greeks we have in our listening audience. When I was in Chicago last weekend, I went to a Greek restaurant, and I was told by a Greek to order this particular side. It was a side. Greeks, tell me what I'm talking about here. We're at 651-989-9393 because there's a funny word for it. Well, not a funny word. It's a Greek word. And so I asked this Greek dude on the at the table. I said, "What is this here? What do you call it?" It was like there's no way I could even take a guess at what the word was now. It was a week ago. I can't remember. But I said, "What is this dish here?" And he said, "Oh, it's like garlic mashed potatoes." And I said, "Well, I love put that on my plate." I told the waiter, "I'll take some of that." Well, it came in a small dollop. I was expecting a heaping pile of It was just a small dollop. And you could smell the garlic coming off of it. It smelled wonderful. I forked some of it into my arrogant hole, and it was ice cold. Oh. And that threw me. It threw me. Greek folks, tell me what I'm talking about. Garlic mashed potatoes, but it's ice cold. Here are some other weird requests at restaurants or cafes. A guy said he couldn't have anything that had been ground up. He didn't like food that had been, quote, made small or made smaller. Now, that sounds like a phobia to me.
Yeah, it has to be.
Sounds kind of, doesn't it, Cubby? Kind of sound like maybe a phobia?
Yeah, or something similar. I don't know if phobia is the right word necessarily, but yeah, that's got to be pretty miserable.
Doing a quick research, it looks like you had potato scordalia. It's like
Oh,
Greek
man.
mashed
A
potatoes
friend of mine
with
died from
yogurt.
that.
Scordalia. That does not. Oh, yes, that's it. I believe, but it was said Scordea.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that is it. Wapple.
Yeah, it's like got mashed potatoes and yogurt and garlic.
I took one forkful and I quit. But that's right, Scordea. Nice work. This sounds like something Dana would do.
Uh-oh.
A server at Chili's. You're the Chili's super fan here because you're a super fan of so many things.
I do like some Chili's.
A server at Chili's had two Chili's super fans ask her to do their gender reveal.
All right, I love that.
That's cool, actually.
on Twitter recently, at least in like the circle of people that I follow, for the last couple months, Chili's is like a big deal. Like they make tweets constantly, like anybody want to go to Chili's tonight? Like me and my girl are going to Chili's, crap like that.
Is it a joke or are they really going?
They're actually going. They're posting pictures. They love mozzarella sticks.
Oh, that's a terrific joint. I just never seem to find my way in. It's too far from my house, but that sounds like Dana, where Dana would meet a 17-year-old kid in a Mario, like the Mario mascot at Mario World, right? Yeah. It's like a 17-year-old kid working for $7 an hour. Because the kid is dressed as Mario, Dana would ask that kid to officiate his next wedding or something. Just because he's dressed as Mario.
Absolutely would.
This text says, I once had a customer ask for his dinner to be served with 9 fries. The cook gave him 8 fries and then 2 really small fries. He lost his S and yelled at everybody.
Oh, my God.
Jeez, that's a fear of a certain number or something?
Either that or just, well, I wonder if that's a power move.
Oh, no.
I asked for 9 fries. I'm going to make you count them out.
You might be right. How sick is that? Weird restaurant requests. A woman wanted bone-in wings, but asked the chef to remove all the bones.
That's got to be a joke.
I don't know. I mean, what you better be kidding.
That's trying to crack up somebody or something.
Just a tremendous pain in the ass. A guy at a Japanese restaurant asked for low-sodium soy sauce, and then he poured it in his Pepsi-Cola.
Oh.
I do like soy sauce, but that might be taking it a step too far.
This text says, I had a customer tell me I could not burn his pizza enough. I set it out jet black, and he finished the whole thing.
Wow.
I don't really like burned pizza. I mean, I'll go through it if that's all you got.
I'm not picky about pizza, or as Dana would say, za.
I really didn't have too many weird requests, but one that really stood out was someone wanted a pink burger, like almost rare, but then the outside charred, which is super hard to do because you have to have such a hot grill that, the outside burns, but then the inside's still raw.
You hold it in your hand. One hand, you got the burger in one hand and a cigarette lighter in the other.
Like, what do you want me to do?
Did that make you just want to go out in the dining room and just take a look at who the heck ordered something like that?
Oh, yeah.
I suppose I'd want to see, too.
Yeah, what's this guy looking like? He's got to be weird, right?
Anybody want a BLT with no bacon or tomato?
No, thank you.
Actually, I feel really dumb usually when I order. I'm like, I'll take a BLT. No lettuce, no tomato.
You just want a bacon sandwich?
Yeah. Bacon and mayo and cheese.
Someone here ordered a lettuce sandwich. A guy ordered a salad and said no purple in it. He didn't specify any foods, just no purple. And then there's a story here about when Flavor Flav came into a restaurant. There was a time when that guy was all over television.
Yeah.
Wasn't there?
Yeah, you still see him on some of those BC celebrity shows.
Boy, I haven't seen that guy in years. Flavor Flav, former member of Public Enemy. So someone worked at a seafood place, and they waited on Flavor Flav, and all he ordered was a big plate of cucumbers.
Huh.
Someone else commented here, who waited on Chuck D's partner from Public Enemy, Flavor Flav, and they waited on him too, and he ordered a well-done steak with ketchup.
Yeah. Well done and ketchup. One of my uncles, he's rolling over in his grave right now.
Yuck.
2 crimes he did not put up with.
Throw that right in the garbage.
I remember when I was a real little kid, he was a big steak guy, and he would just tell like the server just to slap it. That's all he wanted as far as being cooked. Man, how would you like it cooked? Just slap it a little bit. That's all I want.
You want well done, might as well eat a boot.
I remember my sister ordered ketchup with her steak, and I thought he was going to die. He was so upset.
I can picture that type.
Absolutely furious.
It's horrible.
He yelled at me once when I ordered it medium.
Really?
Like he legitimately yelled at me.
That's perfect.
Ketchup and steak.
I go medium rare now, even though he's been dead for several years. I'm still scared.
Medium
He's gonna come
rare.
back and get you.
Yeah.
I used to be a well-done steak person. I grew up, that's all I ever knew. My parents liked well-done steak, and then after I moved out, I had, medium well, and then I went down to medium, and I was like, okay, this is what this was supposed to taste like for the last 20 years of my life.
It's the way to go.
Oh, I felt cheated.
You know who likes
medium rare?
You know who likes a well-done steak and a well-done burger? My mama.
Mm-hmm.
And it's terrible. Hey, here's the deal. A little bit later on this morning, our friend Dr. P. Jesus will be joining us. 8:20, 8:30, somewheres in that neighborhood. So, if you've been feeling a little bit funny lately, not feeling up to schneid, a pain here, a swelling there, that kind of a thing, you can get a hold of us later, and Dr. P will give his professional advice.
He might be in a rough shape today. He might need a doctor. He texted me last night. He had a 13-hour drive, and he seemed pretty beat.
Man, 13-hour drive. Where was
he?
He?
Miserable.
Coming home from Ohio.
Ohio, yeah.
I'll be damned. Well, we hope he's in the best shape he can be for his appearance this morning on the Half-Assed Morning Show. We're getting there. We're just getting started, but we're also at the same time getting there. We got to take a little break. We'll be right back on the program.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
You are getting sleepy. Your CPAP mask is clamped tightly to your face. You will not toss and turn through the whooshing. You will not throw the mask.
It's not working, Harold.
People who struggle with CPAP have partners who struggle too. Luckily, now there's Inspire. No mask, no hose, just sleep.
When I snap my fingers, you will remember to visit inspiresleep.com.
Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, here we go. God dang it, I thought I got got a text message I wanted to share with you here real quick before we get into the stupid news. We were talking about weird restaurant requests. People come into the local restaurant and make bizarre requests to the server. Hey, make sure you cook it this way, that way, you put this in, Skoll jacks me up Jesus. Skoll jacks me up Jesus texted. He must be a server. Summers. He says someone comes on into their bar once in a while and orders an NA Heineken, a non-alcoholic Heineken, and they request that they microwave it.
Ugh. What if they're European? Don't they drink warm beer over there?
Yeah.
That's what I've always heard.
I wouldn't do it.
A microwave.
I'm sorry, the customer sometimes is wrong.
Like,
They're
no,
not
man.
always right.
Get out of here. Just spray him with like a spray bottle. Get.
As a server, you wouldn't do it.
What? That's crazy.
Ashley has a code, and that's it.
Yes.
No hot beer.
I have a line.
Microwaving a beer for them, huh? I ain't never heard that one before.
It's new to me.
On to the stupid news. Oh, we've all been here before. You're having a long-ass day at work. You've got praying something will happen. Anything that might bring an early end to your day. Maybe you work outside. You start praying for severe weather. You work in an office. You start wishing for a building-wide power outage kind of a thing.
Or you want your soundboard. If you work at a radio station, soundboard catches on fire in the middle of the show.
I was just going to say that.
We've also had the power outage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have. We've had a little bit of everything. God, that was great when the soundboard caught on fire. At least it was great. Yeah, I thought it was. Well, what was so bad about it?
Oh, the smell.
The smell was rough.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Home.
I'll go along with that. There was a terrible smell in the room, and it might have taken, 6-8 months off of each of our lives. But really, deep down, Wapple, was it all that terrible?
Looking back, it was pretty damn funny.
It's not for me.
It was a friggin' day off.
Yeah.
Well, I could say we were pretty freaked at first, not knowing, what was going to happen or what to do.
I can honestly say that I was not freaked at all.
I like the power outage better. That was just like, all right, power's out. There's nothing we can do.
We just sat there waiting to see if it came back on.
Making bets.
Wapple, didn't you? 'Cause I didn't work here at the time when the power outage happened, but I remember listening and hearing. Didn't you say like, "Hey, do you guys want to go outside and watch the sunrise?"
Yep.
That's the cutest thing of all time.
Wait a minute, what happened?
We're never going to see the sunrise. So, yeah.
When the power went out, Wapple asked you guys to go outside with him and watch the sun come up.
Yes.
Yep.
Didn't ask me to go out and watch the sun come up with you.
I thought it was on air or something. I thought it was
the power was out. How are we on air?
No, I thought it happened before the power or something. And then all of a sudden the power went out.
Josh, when you were working, I don't know what he's talking about. When you were working landscaping when you were a young guy, did you ever look up at the sky and say, "Come on, severe thunderstorm"?
Oh yeah, we'd pray for rain on certain days. Days where we were like digging up a landscape rock. Those were the big days.
Yeah. My ex used to do landscaping, and when I woke up and I saw it was raining, I was always like, "Crap, darn it! Now I can't do what I planned on doing today. He's gonna want to hang out."
Yeah, he's going to be around the house.
Yeah.
You were also a landscaper, Dana?
Yeah, I did landscaping in high school.
I never signed up for that, thankfully. Here's a fella who really wanted to end his shift at the local gas station in Tulsa, Oklahoma, F me running Homa. But this dude didn't want to leave it the chance. So he called his friend and asked her to rob the store so he could go home early. The gas station clerk, he goes with the name Isaiah Jones. Isaiah Jones. And now, by God, he's been charged with embezzlement and conspiracy to commit a felony. According to the cops in Tulsa, their investigation began when Isaiah reported that a man walked into the gas station June 5th and handed him a note that said, "Give me all your money or I will shoot you."
Winky face emoji, pal.
He said he complied, and the suspect left with cash. Cops later identified Stephen Jones, no relation to Isaiah Jones. The cops later identified Stephen Jones as the suspect and arrested him on June 8th. 3 days later, the guy who did the stick-up gets arrested. Jones confessed to the robbery, but he said his friend Aaliyah Locke set up the crime because Isaiah Jones had asked her if someone could rob the store so he could leave early. Locke was arrested and provided text messages that backed up Stephen Jones' story. Stephen said, "Yeah, I robbed the place, but this Aaliyah gal asked me to do it so her friend Isaiah could go home." Can you imagine those text messages, by the way?
I'd love to read some of those.
Isaiah to Aaliyah, "Yo, what are you up to?" Aaliyah says, "Nothing." "Yeah, I hear you. You think you could find somebody to rob the gas station? I really want to go home." And she says, "Yeah, I'll make a few phone calls. I'll get back to you." Police then arrested Isaiah, who admitted to asking Locke to find someone to rob the store because he was tired and wanted to go home. This is a sad collection of people right here.
Definitely.
I think of all of them, Stephen Jones is the saddest. That's just so strange. He's a dude really unconnected to this whole thing. The girl asks him, "Hey, will you do this?" "Yeah, no problem."
Maybe she's crazy hot.
Yeah. No.
She's not crazy hot.
I don't mean to be rude, but you brought it up, and I'm going to say not crazy hot.
I think Nick said the same.
Did I say? What did I say?
Not very hot. As you went
by my.
You're suggesting, his reaction.
Yes,
I would agree with you. That's what that was.
All right.
There's so many easier ways to get out of work too, especially nowadays. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't smell. I can't taste anything. I've got cold-like symptoms, major headache, but I'm on my way into work.
There are way, way easier ways to get out of work. Absolutely, you're right. All right, you might want to put down your breakfast for a minute, just for a few minutes, until I'm done telling you about this here story. A doctor, I think he's over there in dumbass England. He's been convicted of a sexual offense. And that offense was he allegedly went ahead and dumped his semen into a gal's drink when she wasn't looking.
Yucky.
His name is being Dr. Nicholas Chapman. He's 55 years old. He put some of his spooge into a cup of coffee that he made for a lady back in the year 20 plus 21. Obviously, this became an appetite-ruining court case. An old...
yeah, I bet some coffee fans, no cream for me, at least for the foreseeable future.
Mm-hmm. Old Dr. Spuzz here, he was convicted of attempting to engage in sexual activity without consent. Man, that is not something you want on your effing permanent record.
No, that's going to follow a guy.
That's an ugly one right there. That's ugly. Now, Chapman, the doctor, had an interesting argument. I'm not even sure where he's going with this. But he claimed the JID could have just been there in the coffee cup due to a medical condition that causes him to ejaculate when he uses the bathroom. He claimed the semen might have ended up in the drink. I think this is where he's going with this, because he doesn't wash his hands after going to the bathroom. But he doesn't indicate, at least the story doesn't indicate, he ejaculates whenever he uses the bathroom? Like when? When you take a deuce? When you take a one-skis? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You ever heard of anything like that, Josh, where...
Yeah, on our show, actually, Dr. P, some guy had texted in and said when he goes number 2, sometimes that comes out at the same time. And Dr. P had mentioned that it can sometimes, hit the prostate and something can come out.
That would suck.
But it's not like an orgasm. It's just...
Okay. All right. So you have heard something.
A bit of a leak.
So this guy's saying, yeah, I give way whenever I use the bathroom and then I don't wash my hands. So maybe that's how the semen got in the car. I don't know if anyone's buying it. Well, the court didn't seem to buy it.
And then does he stir coffee with his fingers? Or... I mean, there's still some loose ends here we got to tie up.
During the trial, the court heard that Chapman was accused of adding his baby gravy to drinks for this one lady on several occasions. The lady became suspicious. I'm not sure why. But she kept a sample of one of the drinks that he gave her, had it tested. The coffee was found to contain semen with DNA matching Dr. Chapman. How can you do such a thing?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
What are you, some kind of sick maniac?
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
The victim, who was not named, said in court, "The devious and cowardly nature has shocked me. If this was a physical attack, I may have at least had a chance to defend myself." Right. And good for you, lady. Kick this sumbitch while he's down if you get the chance. Yeah, I ejaculate whenever I go to the bathroom. You do?
Can you hand me a handful of coffee then, pal?
Oh. Wouldn't that be something? Every time you sit down to take a deuce, you have a little
extra.
Yeah, extra's the word. Yeah, there's some extra. We talked a little bit about game shows last week here on the program Ski. I wonder if any of our listeners were watching this episode of The Price is Right last Thursday. A Price is Right contestant dislocated his damn arm while celebrating winning a game of something or another. His wife had to step in and spin the wheel for him.
Let me explain what happened. This is Alice, Henry's wife. How you doing? Henry was celebrating and and he dislocated his shoulder. I know. So he's not going to be able to spin the wheel, but Alice is going to spin the wheel for him. Good luck. Here we go. You want to say hi to somebody?
Hi to my family, my wife, my baby, Cece at home, and all my friends watching.
Thank you. How about 95? Don't hurt yourself.
Wife picked up a 95. Well, I'll tell you the whole story here. Henry was the contestant's name. He was just absolutely pumped that he won the game bonkers.
Yes!
He's just windmilling his arms like a 3-year-old at Valley Fair. He's just windmilling his, and he managed to dislocate his right shoulder. So when it came time to spin the wheel, his wife Alice, just for the record, she had to take his place because Henry's right shoulder was cooked. And as you heard there in the audio, she was terrific. Alice landed on the 95 cent, how do you call it, Cubby? Marker.
Yeah, there you go.
On the wheel. You guys know how that works with the wheel?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And then Henry...
Watch it every day in the summer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you said that last week. Henry went off to the Showcase Showdown. He ended up winning a trip to Hawaii.
Dang. Nice.
He told Alice he'll see her in a couple weeks. Going off to... Injuries have happened sporadically on the show's set, it says here. One Price is Right contestant named Judy took a terrible tumble back in 20+14 while spinning the wheel.
I remember that.
I do too. Yeah, she came back in crutches.
Oh, she tore the living hell out of her ankle. Mm-hmm. I watched the video of this yesterday of Judy in 24+14 when she turn her ankle over. And like you guys said, she had to participate in the Showcase Showdown on crutches. Jim Carrey, what's his name?
Drew Carey.
Drew Carey. Got his arm caught in some kind of wacky game there in 2007, cut himself up. I didn't know that.
2007? Whoa.
Huh?
I didn't realize he's been there that long.
Now you know the truth, Wapple.
That's crazy.
Hurting ourselves in ridiculous ways is one of my favorite topics.
Speaking of separated shoulders or dislocated shoulders, I had a buddy at a wedding. He was doing air guitar too hard, and he dislocated his shoulder right there on the dance floor.
How old of a guy was this?
Oh, he was probably early 30s.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. That is good.
That's priceless. If you have a good story of hurting yourself in a ridiculous way, 651-989-9393. I love that kind of stuff. You broke this, you scraped the living hell out of that because you were doing something ridiculous. Like this guy on The Price is Right. He's so pumped, he's whipping his arms around like a rag doll, and one of them just comes right out of its socket. Tell us about it if you have a story. Again, 651-989-9393. I still think my dad has one of the all-timers when his hand slipped off the ripcord while trying to start his ice auger, and he punched himself in the face and knocked 2 of his teeth clean out of his yapper. I think that's one of the all-timers right there.
Well, I think when he bit into a muffin and lost a tooth, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't do that.
One of his teeth also stayed in a truck stop muffin.
Did you guys see the UFC fighter over the weekend pull his mouth guard out and a bunch of teeth came with it?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty nasty.
I did, but what was so weird about that, Josh? You tell me. He didn't even get hit.
I'm assuming it was before the video started. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
Because I wasn't watching the fight. I just saw the video where he's kind of walking over to his corner and he looks like something's going on. He pulls his mouth guard off and then a whole bunch of teeth came with it.
I wish they would have shown the actual kick or punch that did the damage, because in the video they're just kind of standing there and then the guy spits his teeth. I don't know. Kickboxing. Something else I'd never sign up for. We got an all-timer here, a world record, I guess I can safely say. Surgeons upped and removed what they're calling the world's largest and heaviest kidney stone. They plucked it smooth out of a 62-year-old dude named Kinestis. His name is Kinestis. In Sri Lanka, don't you know? That's where this happened. Kinestis Kungi is his name, and he's got a record setter here. The record-setting kidney stone measured in at about 5 1/4 inches long and weighed 1.76 pounds.
It's insane.
He went in for surgery on June 1st. He probably didn't think he'd come out a Guinness World Record holder, but he is. They're calling it a grapefruit-sized stone here in the story. It was bigger than his kidney.
Kind of looked like a huge clove of garlic. Just a really big one.
Despite the great Kali-sized stone banging up against this poor bastard's kidney, doctors said everything was functioning normally. Kungi is still recovering from this surgery, but he's doing well. And he's probably pretty pumped. I would be. Like a world record.
Bet that hurt something awful. I wonder if Kidney Stone Jesus has had anything approach this. He's texted in a few times and mentioned how many he's had. He's had so many and so many surgeries, poor guy.
Yeah. The previous largest kidney stone was a 5.11-inch growth removed in 2000+4. The previous record holder for heaviest kidney stone was 1.36 pounds. But F them. Nobody cares about second place. Kungi is the new kidney stone king of the ring. Again, 5.2 inches long, 1.76 pounds. You want to learn more about kidney stones?
Yeah.
They're typically formed when minerals and salts crystallize. I'll answer this now, even before Dr. P, I'm sure, could easily answer this for us later when he joins us about 8:20 this morning. They're typically formed when minerals and salts crystallize into hard deposits. The stones are sometimes caused by chronic dehydration. I would never have that problem. I drink a lot of water. But it also says here that gout can cause kidney stones. And I do get gout. Inflammatory bowel disease can cause kidney stones. And it hurts like a bitch.
I bet.
Most kidney stones, here's the good news for all of us. Most kidney stones are eliminated through urination. Others can be removed through shockwave therapy or surgery or pegging.
Never heard that last one before. We'll have to ask Dr. P about that too.
They just peg it right out of you. But that is a keeper, Josh. You does kind of look like a big wad of garlic.
That's what I would assumed it was. And then I would have put it in some mashed potatoes. I'm like, you're eating a kidney stone. Idiot.
You're so dumb.
Yeah, I don't know anything about cooking, but wouldn't you maybe like ground?
Yeah.
You kind of with a piece of garlic, don't you kind of file at it a little bit? Just get little.
Or there's garlic presses, but for one that big, you couldn't use a garlic press.
You sprinkle it on a pizza, and then and then people say this pizza tastes like a kidney stone. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, you could grate it, you could mince it, you could dice it.
What is this, a TV ad? After hours TV ad?
Grate it, mince it, dice it.
What you could do with garlic.
The Wapple knife. The Wapple. Here's an idea for you gals with tremendous breasts before we get out of here. An artist who had breast reduction wanted to memorialize her large cans, before she dummied them down. So she turned them into a dazzling pair of what she calls disco boobs. And I'll do my best to explain this to you right about now. Her name is Shay. So she's going to get rid of these big cans. But to celebrate them, before getting rid of them, she used her artistic talents. And, of course, she showed the whole process on TikTok. She started the whole deal by covering her rack in plaster from something called a pregnant belly mold kit. Has anyone ever heard that said out loud before?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. What is that, and why would you?
Well, you know how you have the Clone My Willie thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same type of thing.
Why would you mold a pregnant belly?
So you can remember what it looked like.
Yep.
Oh.
Remember how big you were?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Just keep it around.
Yeah.
Keep the baby bump.
Clone a Willie. Am I the only one that ever tried that?
Yes.
What exactly?
Oh, I didn't think you
Clone
tried
Willie?
it. I thought you just had it.
I had it, and I let it sit in the porno drawer too long. It was past its expiration date.
So you haven't tried it?
Yeah, I mean, I put it on, and it all was giving way, and it just. I gave up quite quickly, Josh, when I looked at the packaging, and I'm not trying to be cute with that, and it said, best if used by, and it was years beyond.
Didn't you need two of them?
I did.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I had to put one on top of the other.
And Wapple, you used half of one?
No. It was a quarter. Yeah.
You had it too. I thought you guys got it at the same time.
No,
we did.
I got one for Nick. I never got one.
Oh, okay. I thought you bought yourself one as
No,
well.
I just had a lot of questions for him because I'm just too nervous with that.
What do you mean? Why would you be nervous?
Something like cast around my penis?
Oh,
Yeah.
You're right, Wapple. Here's what I did. Get drunk. Nerves, there's no nerves at all.
Yep, that would help.
So this gal rubs all this plaster on her jugs. She sat on the couch while it dried and formed upon her. And then after it hardened, she smoothed the surface with sandpaper. And then she spray painted it silver and glued those little disco ball tiles on it.
Cute.
I bet she could have sold these things.
They're pretty. And now she has disco boobs. She keeps them on a shelf to remind her of her big naturals.
That's cool.
I mean, yeah, kinda. It's cool for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they were yours one weekend and you'd take them off the shelf.
Probably.
Yeah, me too. It's funny for a little while.
I got a cactus now.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, you move out of your house 5 years down the road? Hey, what's this? Oh, that's just my disco boobs.
That's all that is.
People online loved the idea. Like I said, she was all over TikTok with this. Oh, Wapple. One commenter referred to the idea as simply, can you see me?
Mm-hmm.
Simply, watch me.
Iconic.
For you wrestling fans. Someone else called it amazing.
I was amazed.
No one said it was awesome.
No. But they went with amazing. Got anything on you? You want a plaster, Josh?
Oh, I got a pretty decent sized wart.
Dude, that would be incredible. Just
It's right at the tip of my nose.
The smallest little amount of plaster.
My disco wart.
Dude, I gotta see your disco wart. That's such a great idea. Just, what are you doing this weekend? I'm busy. Well, what are you busy with? Disco wart, dude. I'm plastering up my wart. Keep it forever. Reminds me of where I once was.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
And this one is hammered to left field. Did he do it? Yes, sir! Walk-off home run. The 9-hitter Blaze Brothers. And Roberts rallies and wins it. TCU, I should say, in a walk-off. Top half, that's right, not bottom. 3 runs One shot, though, puts them on top after it felt like they were down and out 6-5.
You see, that was all wrong.
He did his best.
You should see. Is that video up on our website, Ski?
I believe so.
93x.com, I believe they call it. To this day, 93x. Carl Ravitch announces all different levels of baseball on ESPN. He blew that call. He called a walk-off in the top of the ninth inning. That isn't possible. And I believe, like Josh in the audio, he had the wrong team as well.
Well, he got it right at first, and then I think when he goes, oh, no, this is the top, he thought TCU must be batting, so his brain fried for a second.
He called the very first top of the ninth inning walk-off in baseball history.
Yeah, he got it right, and then he got everything wrong.
You know, he's down there covering that College World Series. He's probably got, how many rosters in front of him, how many games he's covering. He got a little lost there. It happens to the best of them. Sticking with baseball. Oh, actually, before I get to baseball real quick, Josh, I've had a few people text me this morning wishing us a happy Rey Mysterio Day.
619.
Booyaka, booyaka, 619.
That's right. I say booyaka, booyaka. You say
619.
619 here on Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio Day. Twins didn't get the results they were looking for this past weekend in the Detroit series. Damn, they lost 3 of 4 at home. That's a drag. Yesterday at Target Field, the Tigers went ahead and beat our club 6-4. Kind of a downer, but I'm especially seeing how they won 4 of 5 coming into this series. They get right back at another 4-game series tonight against the Boston Red Sox. Pablo Lopez is scheduled to pitch. We'll talk to Randy and Brad here in about a half hour. Josh's News is coming up next.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
I was supposed to get a base salary of $4,000 a month. I feel like I was Ponzi schemed.
A Blaine man allegedly devised a scheme to defraud hundreds of job seekers out of hundreds of thousands of dollars, and his victims are very pleased that he's been busted.
I think it's awesome. It just shows that karma will find a way, and there is no easy, quick buck.
The 43-year-old was the owner and operator of multiple businesses where he pitched employment opportunities to prospective workers across the country. According to an investigation conducted by the FBI, the scumbag would claim he'd hire job applicants as sales contractors, provided they pay him anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. However, court documents show the employment opportunities never materialized, and the scammer lulled his victims with bogus excuses for not fulfilling his promises. In total, he's accused of defrauding 250 victims of at least $600,000.
Oh, you're looking for a job and somebody scams you. That sucks, Josh.
I know. I mean, especially since if you're ever in a position where it's tough to part with money, I'd imagine not having any coming in is probably the wrong time for this to happen. A man was charged in connection to a robbery at a Missouri grocery store earlier this month, a dog food robbery. The manager told police he saw a man stealing a bag of dog food and asked him to return the item and then leave the store. That's when 42-year-old Gerald Hopkins told the manager he had a gun and pointed what the manager believed to be a firearm at him before running from the store with the dog food, fleeing the scene on a bicycle.
That's how you get away from a crime, right there.
You look sweet doing it. Officers later searched the area and found a suspect matching the man's description. In his backpack, they found a bag of dog food and a gun, a staple gun, which was wrapped in electrical tape to appear as a firearm.
All right.
That's the most dangerous guy in town right here.
Prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell said if you need food for your dog, you have a better plan than taping up a staple gun to look like a gun and trying to pull off a fake armed robbery. It's possible this 42-year-old may spend the rest of his life behind bars due to some previous convictions.
Oh, wow.
What if his dog's the mastermind behind all this?
We've heard that before, where the dog has made people do it.
Absolutely.
A mass vigilante is credited with halting a burglary in progress Thursday night in West Virginia.
It was exciting, of course, to realize that we have a citizen who can be brave enough to handle the situation.
Any idea who this masked man could be?
Not a clue. We're calling him the Lone Ranger.
Deputies responded to a call at a hunting cabin. There, they found 4 alleged burglars lying on the ground with their hands bound behind their backs. The tires on their pickup truck and ATV flattened. Inside their vehicle, deputies found a number of items which had been pilfered from the cabin. The owner tells investigators the cabin had been the target of thieves on several occasions recently, and a lot of expensive gear and items had been taken in those heists. The suspects told police the man who subdued them and made a citizen's arrest was a masked man.
It's difficult to sit back and watch what's going on and not being able to do anything about it. I'm glad somebody was brave enough to step up and do something.
Deputies determined the masked man was not the cabin owner, and nobody seems to know the identity of this masked crusader.
Well, how about that? Didn't stick around to get any credit for this.
No. Like Batman, he just disappeared into the night.
Moved on, yeah.
The Lone Ranger.
Or Daredevil.
Moved on to solve more crimes.
A Miami stripper was arrested for plying a patron with tequila, then using his credit card and PayPal information to funnel $62,000 out of his accounts.
See, I'd never be worried about stuff like that.
It's a damn good night for any stripper.
Yeah, no kidding. Wouldn't it be nice to have $62,000 that could be taken out of your account?
Right.
Be some life-changing money.
The 34-year-old stripper was one of several women who performed lap dances for the victim in a private VIP room at Playmates Friday, June 9th.
And the guy, he's out cold? Was he out cold?
Yep.
Oh.
Claiming it was on the house, the whirlwind of women repeatedly poured tequila shots down the man's throat until he became so drunk he could no longer stand.
Oh, this sorry bastard.
As her colleagues gyrated at close quarters to keep the victim distracted, the 34-year-old stripper suspect relieved the unidentified man of his cell phone and wallet. Finally able to muster his balance to leave around 4 a.m., the man later realized he was missing the items and began to check his accounts. He noticed 6 unauthorized PayPal withdrawals to an unknown person, along with an unfamiliar flurry of charges to his credit cards. The damage amounted to a total of $62,345 in just a matter of hours.
Whoa.
Police also found evidence on the woman's phone that she was selling illegal growth hormone and steroids to clients from her strip club.
Girl.
Imagine this guy going home, like Josh was just explaining. He's going through his balance and whatnot, and he goes, "Son of a bitch!" And his wife from the next room says, "What's wrong?" And he says, "Nothing."
Oh,
I was thinking there could be some situations, I was going to mention that this would be the perfect crime because the husband doesn't want to tell his wife what happened or where he was.
You just hollered "son of a bitch" out loud. Yeah, I know. There's nothing wrong.
Stub my toe, hon.
Yeah.
A scantily clad 36-year-old Florida woman was arrested last week after police say she went to a local Dollar General store wearing nothing but a towel wrapped loosely around her body and a can of Four Loko in her hand.
Oh, no.
As she let a pair of juveniles take pictures and videos of her completely naked.
Gee, Christmas.
Police responded to a call at 9:30 p.m. last Monday regarding a woman who had allegedly exposed herself to 2 juveniles. An officer found the woman wearing a towel wrapped around her body while holding a can of Four Loko alcoholic beverage. The woman, later identified as Giselle Robinson, allegedly told the officer that walking around in public with only a towel is normal to her. The officer said that Robinson appeared visibly intoxicated, and she said she chose her attire because she was just too lazy to put any clothing on.
I feel that part.
The Dollar General employee told the officer a juvenile under 16 had witnessed a woman naked in the parking lot and recorded it on his cell phone. According to the alleged incident, the juvenile forwarded the footage to the employee. The Dollar General store then donated a white T-shirt and basketball shorts to Robinson so she wouldn't have to be processed wearing only the towel.
Interesting.
An out-of-control Florida woman threw a fit at a Family Dollar store after employees wouldn't accept her return without a receipt. 34-year-old Lejada Hill may not have gotten her money back, but she did get a resort stay at the Marcino Motel, Sheriff spokeswoman Julie Martin said in the agency's Facebook video, referring to the lockup overseen by Sheriff Carmine Marcino. Surveillance video shows Hill walking into the Family Dollar store demanding her money back for an item she didn't have the receipt for. When it becomes clear Hill won't get her money back, she lunges at the computer screen on the counter and swipes at the glass barrier between herself and employees. Hill then marched out of the store, but moments later rushed back inside to continue her tantrum, going around the counter, flinging open a cupboard and throwing items around. She stormed out of the store again, and a Family Dollar employee chased after her. Seconds later, Hill returned to the store a third time, where she begins grabbing items off the checkout counter. When an employee grabs an item off the counter before Hill can reach it, she lunges toward them and again, over the counter. At this point, Hill is visibly upset as she marches behind the counter again, facing off with an employee blocking her way. She then fumbles around, taking a few packs of cigarettes with her before she leaves for the final time.
Jesus, anybody got a stun gun or anything? For God's sake.
Sheriff's deputies track Lee down to a nearby gas station where she was arrested. She was last arrested in 2015 when she attempted to return stolen items to a Walmart. She's done this kind of thing before.
Tough customer, huh, Cubby?
Yeah, she doesn't take no lightly.
Apparently not.
A paranoid Florida man stalked a Drug Enforcement Administration agent for 10 years. And police say they even arrested the man after he was observed driving in very close proximity to the residence of the victim's 71-year-old mother. Investigators charged that 41-year-old Bradley Smith began stalking Evan Miyamoto after meeting the federal agent when he went to the DEA office in Tampa to report suspicious drug activity. Since that encounter a decade ago, Smith became paranoid that the victim was investigating him, police said. Despite Miyamoto's assurance that he was not being investigated, Smith allegedly pursued a years-long stalking campaign, which included him showing up at the Tampa DEA office and other parts of the country in search of the 38-year-old Miyamoto. Smith allegedly made threats to harm Miyamoto, and according to witnesses, claimed he knew where the victim lived and has driven by his house several times. While searching for Miyamoto, Smith was recently spotted by the man's mother, the victim's mother, on multiple occasions, stopping in front of her residence where the victim grew up. Smith, who was also recorded by surveillance cameras outside the woman's home, was arrested earlier this month while in very close proximity to the residence.
You never know who you're dealing with out there, do you?
No, they're trying to figure it out. Like, hey, bro, we're not investigating.
It's so weird, yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, now we are because you won't leave me alone.
2 United Airlines cargo agents at San Francisco International Airport orchestrated a years-long scheme to steal marijuana from departing passengers' luggage and then rake in as much as $10,000 a week selling the contraband. How much weed is going through there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Joel Dunn was described as the mastermind and Adrian Webb his right-hand man behind the brazen ring involving other cargo agents at the airport. According to the feds, an informant who had knowledge of the conspiracy to steal marijuana was working alongside Dunn and Webb as a ramp cargo agent when the alleged scheme was hatched in 2020. The informant said Dunn approached them to assist with stealing marijuana from checked baggage at SFO. The informant was paid about $2,000 in cash per shift or more if large quantities were taken that day. It's unclear who is transporting such vast amounts of marijuana through airport security. The pair surfaced on the Fed's radar after they were robbed at gunpoint in the employee parking lot of SFO near their personal vehicles. Police say video surveillance footage from shortly before the robbery shows Dunn, Webb, and other employees move black trash bags out of a secure area of the airport, consistent with the marijuana theft scheme. In related news, a Delta Airlines flight from Scotland to New York City was canceled Friday after authorities arrested a crew member before takeoff. An airline spokesperson declined to provide a reason for the arrest, but did write that Delta's alcohol policy is among the strictest in the industry and they have no tolerance for violation.
Okay.
The Denver airport has like a garbage bin type thing. As when you're about to enter, it says, if you have any weed that you bought while here, please dispose of it in these receptacles. They just all pull that and take it home at the end of the night, don't they, the employees?
I would assume so.
I hope so. Yeah, that's happened when I
hope so.
When I went to Vegas or somewhere where weed was legal. Obviously, I got excited and I probably bought way too much.
Yep.
And then so on the way to the airport, I'm like, well, what am I going to do with all this stuff? So I ended up eating like half a bag of gummies, which was not a good thing. And that was a really long airplane ride. But I left them, like there's a bathroom before you go into the airport. And I left like an unopened little package of gummies and like a little like a G pen. It's like wax, and I was like, maybe somebody will want it.
Oh,
I'll
nice
put it
little-
right there. I'll
nice
leave
little-
it for their
Nice little stall surprise.
Yeah, and then I thought, okay, yeah, no one's gonna do that. They're gonna think I'm roofing them or something.
I don't know. I bet somebody would trust it.
Actually, you would take those gummies if you found them sitting and somebody left them on the toilet.
See, exactly. So that's what I was thinking. I'm like, maybe someone will, need a better ride home here.
A woman was arrested after calling 911 to falsely claim her neighbor's child was drowning, which eventually led to 2 Florida deputies getting into a serious crash as they rushed to respond.
You never at any point saw a child drowning, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You just heard something happening next door, so you called.
Big time.
Okay.
Big time?
Big time. Big time. She heard it. Now, they knew for sure a child didn't drown in the neighbor's pool simply because the neighbor doesn't have a pool.
Oh, shoot.
Around 4:30 p.m., June 8th, 47-year-old Fabiola Robles is quoted as saying, "My next-door neighbor's kid is drowning in their pool right now," to a dispatcher, drawing first responders from the sheriff's office and Deltona Fire Rescue Department into action. While on their way, 2 deputies in the same vehicle were involved in a serious T-bone crash. The deputies were taken to a hospital for treatment while their vehicle and the civilians were left disabled. Multiple other deputies, Deltona Fire Rescue, EMS, and Florida Highway Patrol troopers responded to the crash. 3 deputies eventually made it to the scene, accompanied by fire rescue personnel and others, all on the assumption they were responding to save the life of a drowning 8-year-old. There was no pool nor any body of water found in the backyard of the neighbor's house, but they did have an inflatable water slide. The neighbor told deputies that Robles had been complaining about the noise of his children playing. A deputy asked Robles if she saw a child drowning, and she said, "No. Why? Am I in trouble?" Spoiler alert, she is. She was arrested Wednesday and faces a charge of misuse of 911.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, luckily everybody's going to be okay, but the crash was pretty bad.
How stupid.
The Minnesota State Patrol is investigating a crash that happened on 94 Minneapolis, which led to a secondary crash involving a responding ambulance. A MnDOT traffic camera captured footage of 2 vehicles at the crash scene when it happened just after 12:30 a.m. Sunday, where one of the vehicles ended up on its side. The driver and passenger from the vehicle on its side showed signs of impairment, and troopers used Narcan. They provided medical aid to both. The driver was then processed on suspicion of driving while impaired and criminal vehicular operation. According to the Minnesota State Patrol, everyone involved in the crash suffered non-life-threatening injuries. An ambulance responding to the initial crash was then struck by another vehicle. No injuries, luckily, reported in that crash. The Minnesota State Patrol said both crashes are under investigation. A sheriff's deputy north of the Twin Cities pulled over a driver suspected of being drunk. But it turned out that the influence on the motorist had nothing to do with booze. Rather, there was a pet deer in the car.
It's a lie! I think you tried to bite me!
The vehicle was stopped because the driver erratically swerved for no apparent reason, read a Facebook post Thursday from the Chisago County Sheriff's Office. Nope, definitely not intoxicated, the posting continued. Just their pet fawn misbehaving / jumping around.
Cute.
As the fawn kept its big brown eyes fixed on the deputy, the sheriff's office reported that the driver agreed to move the fawn to her crate. In a follow-up comment, the sheriff's office wrote that the fawn even had a collar. State officials say Minnesotans can keep deer as pets. A spokeswoman for the Minnesota Board of Animal Health said owners of pet deer need to meet all the same requirements as any other herd owner, including registration, official ID, inspections, records, and chronic wasting disease testing. As of November, Minnesota is among 17 states that allow deer as pets.
I didn't know we allowed deer as pets. Anybody interested?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I mean, it was young, maybe, but then once it got big, I don't think I'd want to take care of it anymore.
Boy, that sounds like a tremendous pain in the ass.
You've never seen like those awesome videos of people who like feed the deer in their backyard, and then like 10 years later, the same deer, or not 10 years, like 5 years later, the same deer comes back.
No, but I do like the videos when a dude goes outside to feed him and they just kick the dude's ass.
Those are kind of fun.
Yeah. I stay away from the cutesy ones. I like the one when the arrogant deer whisperer, no, it's fine. They like it when we approach them. And then the thing gets on its hind legs and just pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa.
We've got several deer in our neighborhood, and there's one in particular that has no fear whatsoever of anything. One of my dogs was out in the backyard just barking like crazy. Now, our dog was tied up, But he's barking like crazy, and the deer barely even looked at him.
Just kind of stood there and
just didn't care.
What are you going to do about it,
I'm going
dog?
to eat these weeds over here, or whatever he was up to.
Some of them are mental. They don't know what to be afraid of, too.
2 people are in police custody after fleeing a vehicle on foot across a busy Twin Cities interstate Friday. Eagan police said around 6:45 p.m. they spotted a suspicious vehicle, which then drove away from the area. Officers chased that vehicle but lost sight of it. The Minnesota State Patrol helicopter was called in and located the vehicle again, this time on 35E in St. Paul. Traffic cameras caught a man and woman stopping a vehicle on the side of the road and getting out, running across the path of the oncoming vehicles. The man was caught quickly, police said. The woman was also located and taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries after a fall.
A fall?
Yes, a fall, they say. You can see that video on 93X.app. He plays basketball. He's a maverick. He's a shooter like Larry Bird. He can shoot a three-pointer or dunk a good one on you. Dirk Nowitzki, largely considered one of the greatest NBA power forwards of all time, 45.
I think he could still average about 20 a night, Josh.
Also the first European-born player to ever get an NBA MVP award. Korn guitarist Brian Head Welch, 53, and that's 93X News.
KARE 11's Randy Shaver.
Got a fat ass and a bad attitude.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
This guy. This effing guy. Yeah, I know. He was here day one. You have been here day one. You guys are so amazing. We played Arizona in the first game, and we beat the shit out of them. And I had no points, but that's okay. Because at year one, I was pretty f***ing great. But you guys were greater. And we've been up and down on this journey to the cup.
Pass it to Marshy. Marshy, you got something to say?
No. Listen to me. We've been waiting for 6 long years for this guy to be MVP. Jonathan Marchessault.
Yeah, wave the white flag, bro. we give up.
Nobody's having more fun than he is.
Like a bad best man speech, wasn't it, Josh?
Oh, no.
After too many drinkies.
I still can't get past Ringo.
Old Ringo.
Yeah, he broke his finger.
Snap construction.
Ringo.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's the Snap construction snap guy. Yeah.
Broke his fingers.
Randy?
Poor Ringo. Show some sympathy, Randy.
There's nothing you can say to us that we aren't already saying to ourselves. We know we're going to be enjoying the best version of Randy Shaver for the next few weeks. Vacation Randy.
Oh, really?
Vacation Randy never comes into the mix pissy.
Yeah.
Vacation Randy, listen to him. He's already busting balls.
Vacation Randy's going to be a lot similar to Retirement Randy.
Oh, we look forward to that.
We sure do.
But my question is, are we also enjoying Vacation Brad Ryder?
Ooh.
Of course you are.
Yeah, you're all done. You're done for the summer?
Well, I've been done for the summer for about a month.
Oh, you have for a whole month?
Oh, yeah.
So you haven't changed much.
Yeah, you're kind of the same guy.
I'm kind of I'm happy-go-lucky no matter what.
Yeah, you're even keel.
Yeah, Randy, why does it take vacation for you to give us your best? Is the next question.
Because as I've said many times, this is the best part of my day.
Uh-huh.
And after this is over, I don't have anything else literally on my calendar, which is just awesome.
It's a great feeling.
You gonna go back to bed or what?
No, I'm not going to go back to bed. I do have a few things to do.
You might get stressed out, Brad, this week, though, because it's grad party week here at the home.
Oh, you got a lot to plan for.
It's grad.
You have grad parties?
Grad.
Yeah.
We're going with the name Grad Brad?
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, unless Waffle wants to guess my middle name again.
That was
insane.
I'm so happy.
Was I not here for that?
I don't.
This just happened.
Oh, I was going to say, I feel like my brain has
How about
left my
Ringo?
body.
Did he use
He
Ringo?
called- no,
Did he
he
guess
called
Ringo?
me. He calls me off there like he does every morning.
Okay.
And I pick up the phone, and he called. And I'm not going to say it. I mean, if you want to bring it up, that's fine. But he calls me by my full name, including my middle name. And I said, "How did you know my middle name?" And he's like, "That's not your middle name." I'm like, "Yes, it is." And he's claiming to have guessed my middle name without Googling it or looking it up.
Is it Danger?
He had
Is Danger
absolutely
your
no
middle
idea.
name?
Danger.
Ashley, did he really just guess that?
He
Yeah, he did.
absolutely did. Because as he's on the phone with you, he said a full name, and I was like, "How the heck do you know Brad's middle name? Like what?"
All right,
And-
Waffle. Guess his
Incredible.
social security number.
Honestly, that made my day.
47223.
I have no idea what's going on here. Off-air conversations that we weren't a part of, everybody.
It was crazy.
I'm sure it was. Oh, great audio there to start the segment, Josh. There's always one player at these victory parades who can't handle their hooch and just makes a jackwagon out of themselves. For the Las Vegas Golden Knights, it was William Karlsson. He just went on forever and ever. And at one point or another, you heard the microphone was far away from his face because I this is my guess, Josh, this was a media relations employee or something for the Golden Knights. Just took the microphone away from the effing guy.
I was going to ask if you guys knew who that woman was. She was not happy. Oh, no. She was absolutely furious. He's also, if you haven't seen the video, he's shirtless and he's covered in liquids.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the part, and again, like we mentioned last week, everyone has to curse.
Baby.
Everyone has to curse now during these speeches.
But he got the crowd when he cursed.
Well, of course he did.
Yeah, did you notice that?
Yeah.
The crowd's kind of silent for a second, and then he threw out an F-bomb, and the crowd was back.
But did you notice one of his F-bombs, he included something physical? Did you notice that?
What do you mean by physical?
Once, when he said effing, he included a pelvic thrust when he said effing.
Yeah, that's the one that got the crowd.
That's what the crowd...
Yeah.
That's
I
when
recognize that. I was single once.
That's what that means.
They gotta dry these guys up a little before they get on the mic.
Do you think it was like a bad night out and like he just wakes up in the morning,
yeah.
looks at the video oh, what did I do?
Oh, definitely.
Training camp starts in about 9 weeks. They better get him dry in a hurry.
Still the greatest ever is Brian Dozier. Don't you think, Josh?
Yeah, or Ovechkin. Remember Ovechkin was drunk for like 3 months?
Yeah. I remember that.
They like couldn't find him.
You're right. For about 3 months after the Capitals won the Cup, every photo you saw online of Alex Ovechkin, he was upside down, backwards, doing a beer bong. It was just... But specifically talking about speeches. And maybe we're biased, maybe is the word, because we knew before Brian Dozier and the Washington Nationals won the World Series, we knew him a little bit from him playing here in Minnesota. And we knew he's a pretty straight-laced guy, right, everybody?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there he is up on the podium when the Nationals win the World Series, and he is clearly drunk, something I doubt he does very often. His shirt is off, dancing around, kind of dances up to the microphone and says, "My wife's gonna kill me."
Oh,
that was too perfect.
Oh, my gosh.
So there you go. The Golden Knights had their victory parade on a Saturday in Vegas.
That was such the perfect drunken speech. Like, no, wait. You know, sometimes he's trying to get kind of like sentimental a little bit here and there.
Back, you talking about William Karlsson?
Yeah, and I'm wondering if he's pausing a lot. And I was wondering if maybe there was an English thing there, if that was part of it, not just him being that drunk.
That could have been. Now, I know we've got baseball and big doings in basketball, and Randy and Brad probably want to talk about this Wyndham Clark.
Wyndham Clark.
Wyndham Clark.
Wyndham.
But before we get away from hockey, you're probably saying hockey, what else is there to talk about? When I was looking at the William Karlsson video and looking at that yesterday, I bumped into an old article, 2019. This article's a couple years old, But I thought I'd throw it in just for fun on a wacky Monday. It's a company holiday. No one else is going to be in the building. We're just playing it loose here. I saw a 3-year-old article from a website called Yardbarker ranking the NHL's home crowds. Somebody went around, someone from Yardbarker went to all the NHL rinks and ranked the home crowds. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is I know I can already hear a few state of hockey hard-ons out there puckering up, getting ready to rage, right? If the Pigs' home crowd isn't ranked higher than this team or that team. You see where I'm going with all this. I like to aggravate, at least from 3 years ago, the Pigs' home crowd was ranked 14th in the NHL.
14.
And that's not terribly interesting, except the article touches on something that never occurred to me. And it is kind of silly, and I want to see where we can go with it. They say here, okay, the Wild home crowd is the 14th best in the NHL. They say hockey's pretty much a religion in Minnesota, and the state of hockey definitely deserves a strong response. And when I say state of hockey like that, that is not meant to be a negative comment on hockey. That is a negative comment on that effing slogan that I'm so tired of at this point that I want to vomit all over myself. At any rate, here's one of the complaints this person from Yardbarker had about our home crowd. He says, I have one complaint. The fans' insistence on trying to turn wild into a 2-syllable word when they chant it. And what he's referencing there is and it's never occurred to me. Why don't we say here at the hockey games, why don't we say let's go wild? Why do we say let's go wild?
That's weird. Now that you point that out, I don't like that.
Right? Now that I point it out, now you're wondering, aren't you? And my guess is the only reason why we've made it into a 2-syllable word is because then it can match up with
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go. So why don't we just switch over to let's go wild? Let's go wild. Just throwing it out there.
True.
I never thought of that. We turned wild into a 2-syllable word, and now when you say it in my head, it sounds even sillier than it originally did.
I wish I would have stayed in the dark on that one.
Yeah.
Maybe they could bang a big drum, and then we kind of clap over our heads and go, wild. And then eventually get faster and faster and faster.
That's a good idea.
You're on to something there.
Which hopes that I can further piss somebody off. Here's the results of this NHL crowd home ranking from 2-3 years ago. Ranked above the Wild's home crowd would be the San Jose Sharks, the Calgary Flames, the Buffalo Sabres. But again, this is 3 years old. Boston Bruins, Philadelphia Flyers, New York Rangers, Capitals, Blackhawks, Islanders, Nashville Predators. Now, I haven't been to a game there, but a couple of my buddies have. And you've watched the games from Nashville, I'm sure all of us have, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That crowd is absolutely... I'm surprised there's anyone ranked above the Nashville crowd. And by the way, those teams are the Canadiens, the Golden Knights, and the Winnipeg Jets. But the Predators crowd, that is like a college football crowd.
Definitely.
You been there, Dana?
No, but I just seen it on TV.
Yeah,
It just looks like a wild party.
A friend of mine went there, and he said...
Wild.
W-I-Y-U-L-D. He said it's just, they have organized chants for different portions of the game, for a penalty or a goal. He just said it's second to none. So there you go. I wanted to throw that wild thing at you. And it's going to drive you nuts the rest of the day now, I think. Twins didn't get the results they were looking for, did they, boys?
Oof, certainly didn't.
No.
Not a good series. Maybe one of the worst series they've had in a long time.
They lost 3 of 4 at home over the weekend to Detroit. Yesterday, the final was 6-4.
Starting pitching was not good. Buxton's been terrible since coming off the injured list.
What do you mean? Let me see.
Well,
0 for 13 with 8 strikeouts.
He's been terrible since he's come off the injured list. And their starting pitching in this series was pretty abysmal.
It was one of the only series all season long where the starting pitching kind of looked like it did last year.
Yeah.
Because their starting pitching has been pretty. You want to guess what they batted in this series collectively as a ball club?
I think I saw this. Wasn't it like 110?
It was 190.
190. Okay.
They did have a rally in the 8th, but bases loaded, no outs. They couldn't do anything about it. And again, with the strikeouts, my damn.
But again, keep in mind,
Yes.
they're 500.
Yes.
In a division that's absolutely horrible.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere, Randy.
So they're going to be, I mean, for right now, they're fine, and they've got plenty of time. This is their advantage. Because the division is so bad, they've got time to figure out all of these pieces. It's not like they're so far behind.
No.
That they're desperate. So
I'm
they've
not
got
going
time
anywhere.
to figure things out.
It is hard to get excited about it, though.
It is.
I mean, it is really hard.
You know what you have to. You know what you have to change, Brad Ryder. You have to be a sucker like me. That's how you get excited. That's how I still get excited for the Timberwolves. You know that because I'm a sucker.
I'm already I'm sick of hearing the people in the bar when the Twins lose. They're like, thought it was going to be their year. I'm like, that's nowhere close to being over. All right.
Joey Gallo struck out 4 times. Oh my God.
There's only one team in the American League that's not in the Central Division that has a worse record than they do.
Well, that's good news.
Well, that's why it's hard. I mean, to my point a little bit, that's hard. It's hard to get excited.
We got a couple people texting in already. One guy said he's got tickets to our booze cruise coming up on June 30th, Josh, and he's already warming up his "Let's go, Josh." When he sees he can get the whole boat going. We're going to turn Josh into his Josh. Well, they got no time to sit around playing with each other. They open a 4-game set tonight at home against Boston. Pablo Lopez. But it was a tough weekend.
It was a tough weekend.
Man. Your guy, Louis Varland, didn't look so good yesterday.
I think he's heading St. Paul.
Oh, and we get the story from Dick Bramer this time tomorrow morning. The Louis Varland,
excited.
Ashley dating story from first grade?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Right around first grade.
I heard this story. I saw Dick Friday morning when I was not on the air. I was actually listening to Jim Cott at a breakfast, and Dick was there, and Dick told me the story. So I know the story now, too.
Brad knows the story.
Can't wait.
Brad knows it. Now, Jorge Lopez, relief pitcher, he's stepped away from the team for mental health reasons.
Yep.
He hasn't been pitching well. So he's on the 15-day injured list for mental health reasons. That's kind of concerning, but I imagine maybe the guy just wants to.
He's also the 4th player in Major League Baseball to be put on the IL to address mental health this season.
Well, everyone's more open about that kind of thing now. Is that what it is, Randy Shaver?
I think so.
Yeah.
Daniel Bard, their closer in Colorado, didn't start the season on the Major League roster. Austin Meadows, who has been around, played for the Tigers, plays for the A's. I don't know what it says about Oakland, but 2 of their players are Trevor May, the former Twins reliever, also on the.
Oh, Trevor May.
So, Jorge's had a really, really rough time. It's been rough. It's been hard since coming over in the trade, because before the trade, he was an all-star.
Yes, he was.
With the Orioles. So.
Yeah, he's had a tough run. Michael A. Taylor's going to be okay. Did everyone see him yesterday get hit in the back of the head by a curveball?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ah, dang.
Amazing he doesn't have a concussion.
I guess he's doing all right.
Amazing.
We were talking about the Twins and all their strikeouts. The Seattle Mariners beat the Chicago White Sox yesterday, despite Chicago's starter Lance Lynn striking out 16 batters.
Dang. 16. He has really had a bad year. If you look at his overall numbers, his ERA is almost at 7. I mean, he has just really super struggled. But the guy, when he the guy can strike people out. That's really what he's out there. That's why he's still in the rotation, let's put it that way, with the White Sox. Because at any point, Lance Lynn can figure this thing out. And
he can strike fools out.
Yes, he can.
That's why Brad Ryder got the baseball up there in Clara City.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
So that's split finger by you.
Split finger fastball, Randy. You wouldn't have been able to come near that effing thing.
No, you got
no.
That was a career best for Lance Lynn, 16 strikeouts. Father's Day drama at the ballpark yesterday.
love this.
It all started when a guy caught a foul ball in the upper deck at Fenway Park. I hope Randy and Brad get a chance to see this video if they haven't already. Is it up on 93XHowDoYouCallIt.com?
Yes, it is.
I'm going there right now.
Guy caught a foul ball in the upper deck at Fenway Park. He does the right thing. He looks for a kid to toss it to. He finds a kid. He tosses it over to the kid. I'm no good at this, Josh, but how old would you estimate the kid who originally got the baseball to be? 5?
Oh, geez, yeah, 5 or 6 maybe.
Mm-hmm. And the kid gets the foul ball in his hand, and he throws it back onto the field immediately.
High fly down the left field line. That one cruising for the corner.
Oh, no. Did little bro ruin the moment?
Threw it back.
Little bro threw the ball back.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Hey, bro, you remember that Father's Day back in 2023 when you cost me a foul ball?
This is a Father's Day.
Oh, we got to see
Never
this.
to be forgotten.
Yeah, that's the Boston announcers talking about it. So the little kid throws the ball back on the field. His dad tried to stop him, but he couldn't. It was too late. Problem was he had a little bit of an older brother sitting on the other side of the old man. This kid was maybe, 9 or 10, but again, I'm no good at that kind of thing. And the older brother was piffed.
Yeah, he was freaking out.
He had a complete meltdown.
Instant tears, too. Poor thing.
And then the little kid felt like crap when he realized he did something wrong.
Yeah, and then I didn't see this part, but apparently the little brother got mad at the older brother for being so mad at him, and he threw something at him.
Yeah. Picked up some popcorn off the ground and tossed it at him.
That happens all the time.
It's like, grow up, guys.
And some of you know from being dads, now dad's in the middle trying to police this operation. Here comes mom. She's got a couple of Trulies in her hand. She missed all of it.
She's smiling ear to ear.
And a lot of people on Twitter said you're going to need about 6, 8 more of those if you're going to handle this deal.
On the Coke deck with the Mulligan family, we got Pat, we got Charlie, Jack, and Jamie. Now, Charlie, he's still in a puddle over here, guys. He's a mess for throwing the ball over. He feels terrible. But Jack, he got the ball from Kenley Jansen. And what do you got here, Jack?
I've got a Kenley Jansen signed ball and a Kenley Jansen signed jersey, and he wrote all of it.
What's going on with Charlie now?
Well, he was very excited to get the ball, but so excited that he made a nice throw out to left field, and his brother was a little upset, but we're recovering, and everyone's being so nice. Our friend Mike here is the one who gave us the ball, so we're awfully grateful to everybody for being so nice.
All right, so the kids can calm down now. The Red Sox sent them some free stuff.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool that they do that during the game itself, that they're that aware.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, all that technology and social media and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, 30 years ago, those kids would have just ended up beating each other's ass in the backseat of the car. Yeah, well, Dad probably would have pulled them out of the ballpark and said, well, that's it. We're going home if you can't behave yourself. Now, so, I mean, Christ, Josh, bring my godson to a Twins game and have him have some kind of a fake meltdown. You probably have dinner with Byron Buxton after the
that'd be pretty sweet.
Soft-ass young kids, SAWFT.
Soft.
This isn't good. A bus driver was arrested for DUI while driving the Pirates from Chicago to Milwaukee.
Oh, no.
That would be so embarrassing. You're doing the roadside sobriety tests and the team's just watching you.
Oh, my God. I'm going to die.
Was he driving so poorly that he got pulled over, or did he get tested?
Yeah, he was driving erratically.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
So the Pittsburgh Pirates are trying to go to Chicago, from Chicago to Milwaukee, which is what, an hour?
Yeah.
You know?
Hour and a half, yeah.
And the Pirates are thinking, well, what could go wrong here?
It's kind of the way the Pirates season is going right now, too, by the way. They started out so great, and now they're just really flailing.
I understand that the whole story is the police were to escort the Pirates away from the ballpark for at least a stretch of the journey. And the police noticed that the driver was kind of pinning it.
Oh, no.
You know, he's supposed to hang back and let the cops, keep an eye. He was pinning it. Then he's driving like a jackass, and they pulled him over. He's drunk.
Oh, no.
The bus driver for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's not an employee of the team. He was contracted to drive the team to Milwaukee after their series with the Cubs. What are you doing, dude?
Oh, my gosh.
Even Walt didn't get drunk before he drove the Charleston Chiefs to Peterborough or Medicine Hat. Remember, he was making it look mean, though, before their one trip with the sledgehammer. Walt, what are you doing? Speaking of drinking, LSU fans are drinking a lot of hooch at the College World Series. You know, they have the shot drinking competition, Brad and Randy. Have you heard of the shot drinking competition?
I have not.
No.
There's a bar right across from the ballpark there in Omaha where they host the College World Series, and I can't watch 10 seconds of it because the sound of aluminum bats make me want to go absolutely insane. I cannot see. Can anyone here watch college baseball?
I mean, I guess I could. I just choose not to.
I can't do it because of the sound of the aluminum baseball bats. It's worse. Oh, don't do that.
Oh, yeah, I guess I don't like that. No.
They are using more composite ones now. You might actually be okay with the sound of it now.
Was that a current sound, Josh?
Yeah, it's the one we played earlier.
Then I'm not okay with it yet, Brad Ryder. I'd rather have the teacher drag her damn nails down the chalkboard than those aluminum bats. Right, Randy?
Yeah, that part, yes, for
right.
sure.
So every year for the College Baseball World Series, there's a bar right across from the ballpark in Omaha. They call it Big Stan's Rub and Tug. What do they call the place?
Rocco's Pizza
Rocco's
Cantina.
Pizza.
I'd go to that place.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Of course you would.
What does happy hour look like there?
At Big Ron's Stan's Rub and Tug, it's you don't want to know. Rocco's Pizza. They have a delicious shot there. Last year, Ole Miss fans set a new record. They drank 18,700 shots in the week-long tournament.
Impressive.
These are Jell-O shots.
Jell-O shots? Is that what it is, Josh?
Not a fan.
Appreciate that.
Been a while.
The texture's off.
LSU now is in town for the current tournament. And over the first weekend, they drank 9,000 stinking Jell-O shots. So they're already halfway to the all-time record after one weekend. Again, the current mark is specifically 18,777 Jell-O shots. LSU fans already at 9 grand ski. Just sucking them down like it's prom night or something.
Wow. Well, if they don't get eliminated and they're still playing a week from now, they got a shot at it.
Oh, yeah, Brad Ryder, don't you think?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead with the Wyndham Clark.
Wyndham Clark.
Champion of the U.S. Open Golf Tournament.
Fabulous finish.
Were you all over this tournament, Randy and Brad?
I watched the last 3 hours of it yesterday.
Yeah, that's about how much I watched, too.
Oh, that's
it was
reasonable.
Because it was out in L.A., so it was a late finish.
Yep.
But it was fabulous to see this young guy with his backstory of his mom dying from breast cancer and how he was thinking about her this entire weekend, and he just played well enough to win. I mean, a very difficult golf course, as you might imagine, with the U.S. Open, and guys like Rory McIlroy and Ricky Fowler and Scotty Scheffler and Cam Smith on your tail. That's pretty daunting, but he was able to find a way to win his first major.
There were a couple holes on the back nine. I think he had back-to-back bogeys, and you kind of wondered at that point whether he was going to fall completely apart. But the last 3 holes, he pulled it together and squeaked it out.
His short game down the stretch, probably the last 4 holes, was pretty remarkable.
Yep.
To keep, I mean, they were talking about, which is, for the average golfer to lag a putt is probably one of the harder things to do, just because if you can 2-putt on a green, that's probably the best that a lot of people can hope for. And in this case, it allows these guys to par a hole to, not bogey. And his lag putt on 18, which was he had a 60-foot putt on 18, and he lagged it up there within a foot.
2 feet, yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that when he was walking up the fairway at 18, and he had that 50, 55 foot or whatever it was, and I was thinking to myself, how many amateurs out of 100 right now could get that within distance where you wouldn't have to think about the second putt?
Exactly.
Probably one.
It was a wonderful, wonderful performance by the young man, and we're happier than hell for him. Now, Here's the only story, I believe, from over the weekend that made me chuckle as hard as that friggin' bus driver DWI story. A New England Patriots football player was arrested Friday after police alleged he attempted to bring 2 guns onto a flight out of Boston. Jack Jones is his name. Jack, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of him, Jack Jones.
Are these people not like looking up the list beforehand?
Looking up the list?
I always do that before I fly, like what I'm allowed to have, what I'm not allowed to have. I'm pretty sure guns are on that list of not allowed.
Guns are not on the list.
He had some guns in his carry-on luggage. He didn't have a firearm identification card. He's in big trouble for these guns. But what cracked me up is just over a month ago, this Jack Jones was on Twitter criticizing Ja Morant.
Oh. Yeah.
That's beautiful. A month ago, he's on Twitter. Ja Morant, dumb, he says. Oh, wow. That's perfect.
Oh, I would try so hard to delete that tweet.
Ja Morant, dumb. Hold my beer.
He said things like, put them guns down, Ja Morant. You're the breadwinner. You got to start acting like it. 1 month later, here come the cops. Because this friggin' guy, that's beautiful. This is awful. We go from beautiful to awful. Deion Sanders might need to have one of his feet amputated for him.
Yes.
Nuts.
Yes.
I had heard he's got circulation problems in one of his feet. He's had to have a couple of his toes removed.
Is he diabetic?
That's some kind of all the surgeries. It's causing not negative blood flow. That would mean you're bleeding to death. Limited
circulation.
Yeah.
Limited circulation.
Okay.
And he can't feel the bottom of his foot.
Oh,
can't stand on it for very long. That would be absolutely awful.
Yeah.
All right, Ja Morant suspended for 25 games. I think that story busted loose Friday after we signed off last week.
Yep.
So there you go. I don't feel the need to get into that friggin' deal. You've heard it all up and down. He doesn't even come close to the longest NBA suspensions for a player in league history. Isn't even in the top 5. Now, this is... Somebody busted this it all down. This is not counting lifetime bans. Some players, specifically in the 80s, got lifetime bans due to drug use. The one that comes to mind for you guys is who, Randy and Brad? One name always comes to mind for me when they talk about a lifetime drug-related ban from the NBA. Terrific Dallas Maverick. Played with Ron Harper. Played with.
I can picture him. Was he a guard too?
No, he's a big guy. Roy Tarpley.
Yep, sure.
Who was the other terrific? Rolando Blackman.
Yep.
Sure.
Ron Harper, Roy Tarpley.
Sure.
And there were some point shaving lifetime bans way back in the day. Here are the longest. Ja Morant, 25 games. Javaris Crittenden, 38 games. And Gilbert Arenas, 50 games, also for the Washington Wizards. They decided to point loaded weapons at each other in the locker room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remember that one?
Jeez.
Randy, why did Latrell Sprewell get suspended for 68 games? What did he do?
Couldn't feed his family.
I know this one. He choked his head coach.
Yeah, he choked the coach.
Right.
PJ Carlissimo.
Yeah.
He choked the coach, and then they pulled him off the coach, and he went back into the locker room, and he's like, okay, I'm cool now. I'm cool. And then he ran back out. He ran back out and tried to punch the coach.
No way.
Yes.
Yes.
Then he came here and played well for the Timberwolves. Choking PJ Carlissimo. Ron Artest, 86 games, Malice in the Palace.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the number one all-time ban that wasn't a lifetime ban, O.J. Mayo, 164 games.
What did he do?
Drugs. He wouldn't stop with the drugs, apparently. Remember, he was drafted by the Timberwolves.
Yes.
And then traded to Memphis. Who did we get? Was that the Randy?
Kevin Love.
That was a Kevin Love trade, yes.
That was a
Kevin Love trade.
Oh, okay.
That worked out pretty well.
Yes, it did.
I mean, Mayo was suspended for a positive steroid test. He got in a fist fight with one of his teammates over there in Memphis over a card game.
What a mess.
Drug violations. He's not returned to the NBA since they dumped that suspension on him. Went and played overseas. The NBA's all-time leading bench scorer went ahead and announced his retirement. If you didn't read about it, can you tell me who that is? The all-time leading bench scorer in NBA history?
Isn't it Williams?
That's right, Lou Willem.
Yep.
Lou Willem. Scored...
I can shoot from anywhere.
Yeah, he's a great shooter. He scored 13,396 points coming off the pine. And then he had his whole story there in the bubble season of 20+20. The lemon pepper wings. Remember that story?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
The club.
The club. Yeah, strip club.
Yeah.
Lou Willem told the Clippers, I think he was playing for at the time. This is during the NBA bubble. They didn't want,
Right, sneaking out.
They didn't want any unnecessary mixing with other people to try not to catch COVID so they could keep playing basketball. Lou says, I'm going to a funeral. I got to go. And then someone put up pictures of him sitting in the Magic City Strip Club in Atlanta. I said, what are you doing there? Well, I go there all the time. They even named a flavor of wings after me. No, they didn't. Then folks looked up the menu, and there they are, Lemon Pepper Lou Wings. They named them after Lou. He loved them so much. I love reading all the old names. Oh, these aren't terribly old. Some of the other great bench scorers in NBA history after Lou Willem. Another guy played for the Timberwolves, Jamal Crawford.
Sure. Short time.
One of the best guys ever.
You loved Jamal Crawford. You said he was one of your favorite people ever.
Yes. Yeah. He was one of my favorite Timberwolves ever.
This guy, his sperm is second to none. Del Curry.
Yes.
Eddie Johnson, Ricky Pierce, Thurl Bailey. Manu Ginobili, Vinnie Johnson, the microwave. Kevin McHale, Jason Terry. These are some of the guys who had great points, put up great points off the bench. Detlef Schrempf. That's fun. J.J. Barea.
Oh, I love that dude.
Clifford Robinson.
Great player for Portland.
Did he die or what?
I don't think so.
No. It was number 25. Big, strong forward. Played alongside Kevin Duckworth and Clyde Drexler. Jerome Kersey. He died young. Jerome Kersey. Is Cliff Robinson still? I have a terrible feeling he died.
I don't think he did. So. He did?
Mm-hmm.
Cliff Robinson died too. So did Jerome Kersey.
Yeah, 2020.
God dang it.
For Cliff Robinson, that is.
You know who else put up a lot of points off the bench? Tony Kukoc.
Kukoc.
Otherwise known as Tony Kukoc. That brings I threw that out there because back when I was going to Brown Institute, we used to have to put on these fake radio shows. Who else went to Brown? Wapple?
Right here.
Did you put on the little fake radio show and the teacher was listening from the other room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm working with this. Well, not working. I'm going to school with this dude, Dennis. Dennis was his name. And, we put together this sports report for the instructor to listen to.
Sure.
And as you can tell, I should have worked on it a little harder. But I turned things over to, I said, Dennis, what's going on in basketball? Well, the Chicago Bulls won last night, 17 points from Tony Kukoc. You know who else scored?
Wapple, was your radio name back in the Brown days? Was it Ringo?
Ringo!
You know.
Josh, you know who else scored a lot of points off the bench? Bobby Jackson.
Oh, yeah. He just got a job. He's now an assistant coach with, I forget which team. He just got promoted.
Yeah, he's been coaching for a while. Dan Marley.
Sacramento?
I think it's...
He was with Sacramento at one point.
I think it's somebody else.
Okay.
Speaking of basketball, I watched that Michael Jordan movie. What's it called? Prick?
Oh, Air?
Oh, Air.
Did you like it?
Huh?
Did you like it? I absolutely loved that movie.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good.
I loved it.
What's it called?
The story of Michael Jordan signing with Nike tennis shoes.
I have yet to see this. Don't
you'll
spoil
love it.
I won't spoil it. You'll like it.
He signs with Converse, Randy.
It's one of those that looks so bad, I'm not sure I would like it.
Oh, it's very good.
I've heard nothing but great reviews, though.
You'll like it, Brad. It's all right. Should have been called Prick.
That's before he became Michael Jordan.
I'm sure Mike would have signed off on that movie name, too.
On this date in 1980.
You know, by the way, he's selling the Charlotte Hornets. He's getting out of basketball now.
Well, that's fine with me.
Well, the poor guy only cleared $2.5 billion on the sale.
What's it say at the end of the movie? He still makes like $400 million a year from Nike.
Just on the shoes.
That's amazing.
It was on this day in 1984 the Bulls picked Mike Jordan third
overall.
After number 2 was, Sam Bowie.
Sam Bowie.
And number 1 overall in 84 was my favorite all-time NBA player. And it's tough for me to talk about him without getting emotional. Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon.
Yep.
What else do we got here? Butterbean wants to come out of retirement and knock out Jake Paul.
No.
I'd like to see that.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
You guys remember?
Sit on Jake Paul. You don't have to hit him. Just sit on him.
Josh, did you ever watch Butterbean when he was a younger man?
I did.
Yeah.
He's in the shape of his life now. I'd love to see this fight.
Is he?
No, he's
not. I bet he's not. He's 43 now. 56. He's 56 now. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I saw him fight Johnny Knoxville once.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he knocked him out, and then Johnny Knoxville was very badly concussed, and they're taken to the hospital, and he kind of looks at the camera and goes, "Hey, guys, is Butterbean okay?"
All right, we'll see about that nonsense, but I just like talking about Butterbean. And we got to get the hell out of here, gentlemen. Thank you, Randy and Brad.
You're welcome.
All right.
You guys were absolutely wonderful. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we got Dr. P. Jesus will be joining us over the telephone. So if you have a question on your general health and well-being, text us 651-989-9393. He'll do his best for you. That I can guarantee. Dr. P is next on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud. They lose control. They do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
You are getting sleepy, very sleepy. Your CPAP mask is clamped tightly to your face. Right, my darling?
Yes, dear.
You will not toss and turn through the whooshing. You will not throw the mask. You will not dislodge the hose and blast air all about the bedroom. You will not wake me, your loving husband, who yearns for even a single night of uninterrupted slumber, please.
It's not working, Harold.
People who struggle with CPAP have partners who struggle too. Luckily, now there's Inspire. Inspire treats the root cause of sleep apnea inside your body. While you sleep, Inspire keeps your airway clear so you can breathe normally and rest comfortably. No mask, no hose, just sleep.
When I snap my fingers, you will remember to visit inspiresleep.com to learn more.
Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Dr. P. Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Josh just brought up a good point. Off air, Josh just brought up a good point. Dana and Wampo, you guys can't help a gal out on Shark Week and get her friggin' traffic ready for her?
She's not sitting in her chair. Nobody else decides, I'll get traffic ready in case she's not coming back.
You guys just sitting there playing with each other or what?
Wampo, that hurts.
What did he say?
I had no idea she was gone.
Oh, that's true. You can't see me, yeah.
Come on, Dana.
She always makes it back.
Calling in right now on the damn telephone is our pal Dr. P. Jesus. If you got something wrong with you, if you're feeling kind of sideways, text us. The number is 651-989-9393. Hello, Dr. James Parnell.
Hey, good morning.
welcome back to the chair, Ashley.
Thank you.
13 hours behind the wheel, I'm told. You drove in a motor vehicle home from your family's place in Ohio to be with us this morning.
Yes, I did. I drove back yesterday. It was one of the more brutal drives. Chicago was horrifying. Wisconsin, I don't know what was going on in Wisconsin. Either people were just slowing down or there must have been some accidents, but it was a nightmare.
So Chicago, they were going buck wild. You got to Wisco. She slowed down a bit, but you finally made it.
I did, yeah.
Well,
people
thank you.
drive so fast around Chicago. It is, until there's a traffic jam.
You know what,
Going,
Dr. P? I was just there a week ago, and I said the same damn thing. I was just in Chicago last weekend, and yeah, they pin it.
It's crazy. I don't know. I don't see any police. So next time I'm gonna go real fast when I get there next time, I think.
Well, see, I think I averaged around 80, and I was still being embarrassed in certain situations when I was going. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
94 can get that way, too. I'll tell you, there's a guy the other day. He was going. I've never seen anybody drive on a freeway faster. I couldn't tell you how fast this guy was going. I just felt the air, and he was gone. It was so fast.
94, absolutely. Like my dad has always said, when you're going west on 94, this is the old saying from the old man, Father's Day yesterday. He said, once you get beyond Weaver Lake Road, it's like there's a waving a green flag.
And he's not joking.
Because they get her done. They get her done, but when heading towards Rogers. Here's the deal, Dr. P, thanks for joining us. Are you a little tired?
I'm okay. I'm good.
Doing better?
Does your back or your legs bother you when you're sitting in a car that long? By damn.
I'm pretty stiff today, yeah. My dog was with me, too. That's it. He's probably more agitated right now than me. He's like, what are you doing? I was in a car all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 13 hours.
Yeah, that's a long time
for a dog.
Thank you very much for being there.
Doctor, this question says, I have a lower abdominal pain when I cough, sneeze, sit up, etc. Is it a hernia or just old age?
The common denominator with those coughing, sneezing, or sitting up is, you're increasing the pressure in your abdomen. And usually that is the type of thing that, if you have a hernia, makes it hurt or sort of pop out. So probably, because otherwise there's not really, I'm trying to think of, unless you have a hernia or I guess just a strained abdominal muscle, that could also give you pain. But
do you have to go to the doctor for a hernia, or how's that work?
My brother is proving that the answer to that is no.
Generally, except in very rare circumstances, it is not an emergency. If you have a pain and you feel like a lump in your abdomen and you're vomiting and it hurts so bad you can't stand it, then yeah, because sometimes a hernia can get sort of stuck. That's an incarcerated hernia or a strangulated hernia. And that's dangerous because that means something, it's usually not your intestines themselves. It's usually some of the tissue that sort of holds our intestines in place that can get stuck in there, but it has blood vessels in it. And if it's stuck, that's bad.
See, I know guys, and my brother included, who I think the plan is they're just going to haul these hernias around forever. They're not going to do anything about it.
You really... I don't think there's any hernia that you absolutely have to have dealt with.
And they bulge out and it hangs over the belt line? Not my brother. I'm not sure what his look like. But if you see him on the booze cruise, maybe if the price is right, he'll show them both to you.
I thought hemorrhoids and hernias were the same thing for the longest time.
You thought hemorrhoids and hernias were the same thing?
Yes. And so my boyfriend had hernia surgery a couple years ago, and so he talks about it with people. And I always was like, oh, I always just pictured in my head, butt stains, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. And then finally I learned what it was, and I was like, dude, I've been looking at you weird for a really long time now.
The letter H confuses Ashley.
Yeah.
Words that begin with the letter H.
She thought there were his and hernias for a long time.
Yeah, his and hernias.
And people can live with them. It's really just, it's a question of how much you can tolerate it.
Well, let me ask you another question that might, and I don't mean to interrupt where you're going with this, Dr. P, but you tell me if this is also a hernia-related question. A listener says, I'm a fit 63-year-old male. A couple years ago, my belly button is starting to bulge outward.
Yeah, that is another type of hernia.
So there you go.
That's probably, that might be. I'm not sure whether that's the most common or whether the groin and hernia in men, inguinal hernia, is the most common.
I thought it was just in the tummy there. They can go lower, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the more, I think, again, the one that men tend to have surgery for is down in your groin, so, I mean, off to the side of the junk, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Where it just, and that one tends to get pretty uncomfortable because it's just, every time you're up and around or if you lift anything or strain, it will bulge. The one up near the belly button, I mean, sometimes people will have it dealt with, but often they just kind of go along with it. It's never a bad idea you should bring it up with your doc when you have a physical, or if it's hurting, if it's getting massively bigger. And the surgeries these days are not too big a deal, really. They basically either make a tiny incision and use laparoscopic instruments and put some mesh in there, or they may make a more traditional incision and put some mesh in there. But it's pretty straightforward surgery.
What would you say off the top of your head? What percentage of people just up and give themselves a hernia in their lifetime? How common is it? Because, you don't necessarily always have to be some heavy lifting animal. You know what I'm saying?
Are kids born with them? Isn't that kind of common?
Kids are born with them?
You can be. I mean,
my sister was born with one, and they had told us, it happens quite a bit.
I guess I don't know.
Fair enough.
I think it's probably pretty high. I mean, 20% of people maybe.
Sounds like it's easier to do than you think. So fair enough.
Yeah.
Don't hurt yourself. Moving on. Talking to Dr. P. You can text us 651-989-9393 if you have a question. I've had a couple come in here on strangely enough. Tell me if this is true. If you take steroids, it can cause gout. You know anything about that?
Well,
and I'm guessing they mean steroids to treat a problem, not to be Mr. Universe. Steroids can cause gout.
That's interesting.
I'll tell you what. That's not how I got it. That's not how I got it.
I would say that now maybe they are talking about if they're talking about steroids to treat a condition, anti-inflammatory, prednisone stuff. That actually, we use that to treat gout, acute gout. So I think they must be talking more about anabolic steroids, and I don't. I'm not familiar with that. Obviously, in medicine we don't study anabolic steroids because we don't use them. And I don't know whether they have any. That probably doesn't have anti-inflammatory properties. The build you up steroids. So that could cause gout. I would say, if I'm guessing.
That's good enough.
Definitely the steroids that are used to treat things would, at least in the short term, not cause gout.
All right,
gotcha. I'd have to. Sometimes people are on steroids. Oh my gosh, they're on prednisone for a long period of time because they've got terrible lung problems or a rheumatologic condition. Maybe if you're on it for a long time, there could be some kind of reverse effect, but I'd have to look that up.
All right.
So yeah, I would say no, probably.
Gotcha.
We got a 41-year-old here who loses their energy fairly quickly, lacking motivation. Is it a testosterone thing or something similar? If so, do you recommend a supplement? And if so, what kind?
This is a guy, I guess, right?
Yep.
Did it even say that?
Sounds that. Well, they said testosterone thing, so I'm assuming.
Yeah, right. Sometimes women wonder about testosterone levels too, but yeah, generally men. In a 41-year-old guy, they said they decrease energy or lose energy quickly.
Yeah, lose the energy quickly, lacking motivation.
Did
he say anything about the bone ski?
Didn't mention the boner.
Testosterone is a possibility. Usually when those symptoms are coming up in a person that age, you think more of depression, anxiety kind of stuff. I'd say that's just far more common. And again, there's whole industries developed around giving men supplements for various things. And low testosterone, you can have lab tests to see if your testosterone is profoundly low. It's pretty unusual. And then if you do indeed have low levels, and that's shown over a couple different times, then there are prescription supplements of testosterone that would be helpful. I mean, we never recommend over-the-counter testosterone building or, DHEA supplements and things like that, because I just think it's such an unregulated market. And again, it's just, people in my line of business are not about recommending that stuff in general. There are, there's alternative medicine practitioners, maybe chiropractors who get into some of that stuff more so. And I'm not going to say it's wrong. It's just, I don't think there's great evidence that it can help people. It can help people spend a lot of money, maybe help them feel better. But yeah, it's something to talk to your doctor about. Again, depression, anxiety would be more of the things that would cause that. Possibly a thyroid problem, but testosterone's lower down the list in my mind.
Sure. Well, along the lines of depression and anxiety, somebody has a question about sertraline. Can it mess with a man's, quote, tallywhacker?
The word is sertraline?
Sertraline.
Sertraline. That's the
Zoloft.
generic. Yeah, Zoloft, exactly.
What is that? What is that? What do folks take that for?
It's for depression and or anxiety.
Okay.
So it's the same category of medicine, serotonin medicine, just like Prozac and Paxil, basically. So it's, Prozac, Paxil, Zoloft have been around for, 40 years, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it can have an effect on sexual function. I'd say it's less common to have it cause erectile problems. It's the classic problem with those medicines is it makes it very difficult for men and or women to have orgasms.
Oh.
Which is, to some people that sounds fantastic, like, oh, delayed, yeah. But for many people, it's like
a year-long edging session.
Yeah, like this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I bet that gets frustrating.
Yeah, or you can never get there. But it can cause erectile issues in men too, I think, for some. And so there's sort of a way that docs can talk about it. You can lower dose, you can, or try a different medication. Those are the usual strategies. Sometimes if men are having, men or women are having troubles with sexual function on a medicine like sertraline, you even add another antidepressant called Wellbutrin, and that seems to help improve sexual function without, taking away the antidepressant effect, essentially.
Can't have an orgasm, huh? Josh, our women wouldn't know the difference, would
No,
they?
not at all.
No.
I just tell her, no, you're on sertraline. That's all it is.
What? When did I get... Since when have I been on sertraline?
Digital Crystal Jesus wants to know, he's getting an ingrown toenail fixed this week. What exactly do they do to fix them? He's wondering.
Ew, ingrown toenail.
Gnarly.
Painful.
Well, you don't really fix it. You have to remove part of the nail at the least.
I need
and
that.
to do that, they have to numb up the toe at the base. So there's basically 4 nerves that two on the top part of the toe, 2 on the bottom part of the toe. Those have to be numb. And then they lift up part of the nail and take it straight back to the roots and get it out of there.
And it's gone forever.
Well, that's the thing. If you just do that, it will grow back. So the more definitive treatment is to do that part and then use some sort of destructive process, whether it's a chemical or whether it's a little cautery tool to ablate the nail matrix, it's called. So basically the root of the nail.
I remember you telling us about this a long while back, about just having them, just get rid of them forever.
I had it done.
You had that?
Yeah, they don't take the whole nail off. They just take the portion
it's sort of like the third of the nail on that side where it's ingrowing.
Do I remember that? Did you show it to me ever, Josh?
I don't think I've showed it to you, but I was pretty young because I'd get them all the time.
So
I didn't even know you could
really?
ever. Yeah, so they just kind of, like Dr. P said, excuse you. They cut like just like the far left part for me of my big toe, and then they put like some sort of weed killer down there or something, and it doesn't come back.
Can you tell by looking at it?
No, not really.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, the nails it ends up just being slightly narrower so that edge doesn't keep growing back under the skin.
I see.
So, and it's, so that's the most occasionally somebody will just pull out the nail or that part of the nail. And
like someone at home will just pull it out?
No.
What?
Sorry.
With their teeth.
Oh, a doctor will.
Yeah, at the doctor's office. Because the chemicals that you use to ablate that the matrix part, are pretty nasty. And they don't always have them in the office. So podiatrists will always have all those chemicals.
All right.
Lots of family doctors will too.
Yeah, then
Quite painful.
you put down some of the landscape fabric and mulch it.
Some
That's
mulch.
a good idea.
Here's the deal. We're talking to Dr. P. Jesus, fielding our listeners' medical or health, I guess I should say, questions. 651-989-9393. What would be your best advice, maybe something they might want to try to take, or any other kind of advice here, Dr. P, for someone trying to quit smoking? You don't hear a lot of this anymore. Not as many people are smoking, and so in turn, not as many people are having to deal with quitting.
And so they asked, can you just say what they asked again? Did they want to know about medications or other ideas?
Medications or other ideas, either one.
Okay.
Whatever is your best advice for someone trying to quit smoking cigarettes.
And then on the flip side, how do you start? Like, should I start with the gum and then move on to cigarettes?
Yeah, you wanted to start with maybe a couple a day and then just start going up from there. No.
By the way, Josh, have you ever even tried a cigarette?
I mean, I feel like I've smoked tons of them because I had 4 adults that all chain smoked.
You never all those adults that lived in your home growing up, you never put one in your yap and fired it up just for fun.
I mean, candy cigarettes, I don't think that counts, though.
Cigarettes, Dana?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Wapple smokes. Ashley, you must have smoked some cigarettes.
Yep.
Yeah, I tried quite a bit when I was a young kid. And then my lung collapsed, and that kind of steered me.
That ends that.
Yeah, okay, so your best advice, drugs or otherwise, for someone trying to hang it up?
Sure. It depends a little bit on how much you smoke. Because if you don't smoke a lot, if you smoke less than half a pack a day, I think, then it's maybe not so much about nicotine addiction. It's about the habit part.
Okay, sure.
So that's where we if you're smoking more than a pack a day or, a couple packs a day, clearly you are completely addicted to nicotine as well as have the habit part.
For me, I smoke an e-cig, and if it dies or something, I cannot smoke, and I don't get a headache or anything, but it's the habit, like the oral fixation, and I need to be doing something. Like I'll start biting my nails or like chewing the inside of my cheeks because I just I miss that.
I hear you.
Yeah. So so there really is 2 parts to it, and the medications. Prescription medications. The one that has been around for, I don't know how many years now. Chantix.
Is that the one with the crazy dreams?
Yeah.
My sister and brother-in-law, they quit, and they were on something. That sounds right. And they were saying the dreams were incredible. And I've heard other people say the same thing, just these crazy lifelike dreams.
I have no idea why that is, but yes, that is one of the weird side effects from it.
In your dream, did I wake up in the middle of the night and yak in your sink? What movie? Weird Science. Go ahead. Ashley, you had another comment?
I kind of always wanted to try that medication just because I wanted to have those trippy dreams.
I think it's probably only if you are someone who's been smoking a lot that you have those dreams.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's an effect.
Like maybe the more dramatic the withdrawal, the more.
Yeah, because it essentially binds to nicotine receptors, which is even that in and of itself. When you say that, we have nicotine receptors in our body.
We do.
Mine
are always busy.
Are they multifaceted? I mean, do they recept other things too, or what are you saying about that?
So I mean, just like we have opioid receptors, so that's what morphine and heroin act on. I mean, it's when you really start to think about it. But
so that's how you get hooked, huh? With those.
Yeah. Right. It binds nicotine receptors and essentially doesn't let the nicotine from your cigarettes or other source do its thing. So
I've never heard that before. That's very interesting.
Yeah, so that's Chantix. Wellbutrin, which is the antidepressant I mentioned, that can sometimes be added to help with sexual dysfunction if you're on things like sertraline. That actually does seem to help people quit smoking for some reason. Mm-hmm. That's been used even longer.
Weird.
Those are the main prescription things. And then nicotine replacement with either patches, gum, lozenges.
Sure.
Or even inhalers. I mean, those all can be used to help wean off of nicotine.
Yeah.
And then the habit part is that is far tougher. The stuff that Ashley was talking about, truly oral fixation, playing around with something in your fingers, putting it to your mouth. I mean, it's just, I think it becomes a very, it's a sensory experience that, so that's why maybe, we used to at least think that those nicotine inhalers, maybe that was a good idea, but it's almost like a cigarette.
It's a tough gig. If you're a heavy smoker and you were able to quit, man, I got all the respect in the world for you. Or a heavy chewer that was able to quit. It's
tough. I've
so
witnessed
brutal.
people go through it. I know it's difficult.
Good for you that you're able to. Real quick before we take a break, we were talking about toe problems, toenails coming off and this and that. Have you guys ever heard of this? You guys like to play around on the internet. Someone texted in and said you should check out the Toe Bro on YouTube.
Never heard of it.
Okay. No. I'm assuming this is someone who will help you with toe issues. I hope it's not some wacky porno movie or something, but they said check out the Toe Bro on YouTube if, in fact, you can't make it to see your doctor today. Maybe that Toe Bro will have something or not. Keep sending in your questions, 651-989-9393.
Dr. P. Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Absolutely. We got a handful of minutes left, and we're on the telephone line with one of our best bros, Dr. James Parnell. We call him Dr. P. Jesus. He has been helping out this morning like he always does, fielding health-related questions from our listening audience. And we got time for a couple more, but real quick, just because being a doctor, I thought you'd get a kick out of this, Dr. P. Earlier on, we did have a quick conversation on hilarious ways people have injured themselves. There was a guy on The Price is Right last Thursday, Dr. P. I don't know if you were watching. There was a guy on The Price is Right who windmilled his arms. This is a grown man. He windmilled his arms so furiously when winning some goofy game on The Price is Right, he dislocated one of his own shoulders.
Oh.
And I opened it up to our listeners. What are some of the ridiculous ways you've injured yourself? I won't take up too much of your time. These are some of my favorites. Broke 2 ribs when I sneezed the wrong way.
Oof.
I donkey punched my husband in the back of the head and broke my own hand. Climbing a tree, fell out of the tree. On my way down, I caught my armpit on a broken branch and it impaled me.
Oh.
I was hanging 10 feet off the ground. I was told the broken branch went so far into my armpit that you could see my lung moving through the wound.
Oh!
Someone tore their ACL at my wedding reception dancing to Thriller.
Oh.
Tore off my middle finger while clearing the chute of a plugged snowblower while it was running. 3-year-old kid dropped a dumbbell on my foot and broke 3 of my toes. And this is my favorite. I'm a truck driver. I caught an earring on my air horn and ripped the earring out of my ear when I honked the horn.
Oh, ouch.
Oh.
Here's a few that came my way that I like. Joe Bob Jesus strained a muscle in his hand pressing the button on a garage door opener.
Oh, yeah, that's when you know you're out of shape.
One good-eyed Jesus dislocated his kneecap kicking snow from under his car.
Oh,
man.
PTSD Jesus said, when I was in Iraq, one of my buddies separated his shoulder while sneezing. And this person doesn't say exactly how it happened, but he had a 7-inch stick impaled into his neck.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would freak me the F out.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Wait, my only question is, air horns, you really do pull something from above you?
Yeah, you never been in the cab of a tractor trailer?
No, but I mean, I know that's what we used to do when we drove by, to get them to honk it, but I didn't know.
Yeah, back in the day, I used to ride with my old man. That's how he did it. He had a little line up above the driver's side window. When we'd see hot chicks.
Didn't you ever do that when you'd see trucks on the road?
Yeah, we would, but I guess I didn't realize it was because that's what they did.
The old man said, when we see hot babes, we pull that sumbitch every time.
Probation office Jesus said, I'm having horrible allergies this year. Never had them before. I'm extremely congested often just in the left nostril. I'm taking Allegra and Flonase. What else can I do? Is it possible it's become a sinus infection?
Wow, that they actually brought up a number of good things there. Yeah, I mean, if they're already taking So Allegra is an antihistamine, and Flonase is a steroid spray that you put up your nose. Those are basically the treatments that we would typically use. So yeah, and especially if it's one side that's completely blocked, then we would start to think, is there an infection? Because usually allergies are going to be affecting both sides equally. And anything that causes inflammation, swelling, could potentially lead to a sinus infection. I mean, it's more common if it's like a viral infection, like COVID. We don't even talk about COVID anymore, but just the regular cold. So yeah, probably get it checked out because again, they're already using the treatments that we would recommend for allergies.
Who's the most allergic member of this program?
Not me.
I barely have any allergies, yeah.
Yeah, I get them. I get seasonal. That's about it.
I'm lucky too. They've never really bothered me.
I mean, I guess I'm allergic to cats, but it's better now that I lived with some for a while.
Yeah, same here, actually. Yep.
What about you, Dr. P? Are you a allergic person?
I have ragweed allergies in the fall, and I used to get injections when I was younger. In fact, I had an anaphylactic reaction to an injection because I think it got put into my vein. So meaning they gave me the injection. This is actually when I was in residency. Gave me the injection. I said, "Oh, I don't feel right." And suddenly I was sort of passing out, and my blood pressure was like, almost zero. And I actually had an ambulance ride to the emergency room. I got a couple shots of epinephrine.
Ooh.
Ended up spending the night in the hospital. Yeah, that was fun. So then I didn't do allergy shots anymore. But they seem to have gotten better over the years. Anyway.
I sure hope so.
That lady that texted Josh didn't want to hear that effing story.
I'm allergic to toxic people, by the way, Dr. P. Looks like we got time for one more.
Yeah,
this is from a 39-year-old male who said, over the last couple of weeks, my resting heart rate has been around 50 to 55 BPM. Is that okay?
Yeah, what's that? Is that good or bad?
Yeah, I mean, we usually say, well, technically resting heart rate between 60 and 100 is normal.
Oh, okay.
If you're on the high end of that, it's probably a little fast. And if you're below that and you feel fine, it's absolutely fine.
Huh.
Yeah, so if you're someone who, if you get up out of a chair and you feel like you're going to pass out every time, or if you're having problems like that, then something is going on. But yeah, lots of people, especially younger folks, if you're physically active, your resting pulse could easily be, in the 50s, if not even a little slower.
I was just going to ask, maybe he's just in incredible shape, works out a lot. Because my wife works out constantly for her job, and her Apple Watch has, in the past, told her she was dying. They would get like an alert because her heart rate is so low.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people will get, essentially your cardiovascular system is so efficient that it only beats as much as it needs to, and that could be down in the 40s.
It's kind of freaky, though, when it really slows down like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, and at some point you wonder. But again, if you're able to do everything that you do without a problem, usually it's fine. Yeah, in the 50s is definitely fine.
All right, cool. That's cool.
So you're not worried. 50s, you're fine.
Yeah. Again,
as long as you feel all right.
Yeah, if they have any sense of not feeling well, or feeling lightheaded, feeling tired sooner than they should, weak, any of those things, or if it seems very different than it was last week, I mean, that's the thing. If suddenly if you're somebody who's had a heart rate in the 70s at rest and suddenly it's in the 50s, that seems that's weird. Though it would be hard to explain that simply, but again, never a bad idea to go talk about it.
Luke Salesman Jesus is a runner, and he said his resting BPM is between 43 and 48. Yeah, I think my wife's that low, or it's right around.
Yeah,
wow.
Something.
That's crazy.
Being a guy who's lived with a heart condition for the last 31 years, paranoia would get the better of me. When it would beat irregularly or beat a little fast, I took my pulse constantly, to chart out, what it's doing and how fast or how slow. And there were times, and I guess now I'm learning this is a good thing to, this means you're healthy to have a lower heart rate as long as you're feeling fine, like Dr. P just said. But there were times when I'd take my pulse and I'd feel that first beat and I'd think, where the hell's the next one? You know what I mean?
I feel yeah.
But that's good. I'd be much more concerned if it was racing. But sometimes when it dummies down, you go, Jesus criminy, is this the end or what?
Yeah, and there are conditions where sometimes people will. You basically get different degrees of block, where the upper part of the heart and the lower part of the heart are not connecting right. But that's much less common. It's usually in older people, and again, they typically are going to have symptoms for sure.
Well, Dr. P, get some rest. You drove 13 hours from Ohio to be with us this morning, and we appreciate it. Get some rest, and thanks for everything as usual.
Yeah, you bet. Talk to you in a couple weeks.
Bye, Dr. P.
See you, dude.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.